Are they Nepalese or not?
No, Indian. Not as good. Bring
That's
back the
that's why they're not
Nepalese.
as good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
let's go the Gorkhas. How are the lads?
How are you,
I'm
mate?
good, thanks, Steve.
I'm quite good, but the weather is getting very, very cold, very fast.
Is it?
Is
Oh,
it? Yeah,
it's
yeah.
not here, funnily enough.
It's
This here
always
is getting
hot.
freezing.
I was
It's
sweating.
always hot there, mate. Mate, come on,
I
it's
got sunburn
12
again
months
today.
hot. Oh, the days are quite pleasant with the sunlight and all. It's the morning and the evening that sucks. Once the
Yeah.
sun sets, that's why there's so much dew around. Billy, do you know that?
No, no, I didn't know that, Deeps.
Oh, that's why the team chasing is winning more often in the World Cup.
I
All right.
Oh, is that a cricket thing? Because I don't know what you're on about.
Yeah, because if the difference in temperature is too much, then there's gonna be more dew.
Yeah. More swing in the ball.
Oh, sorry, what?
He doesn't like cricket, Deeps. He doesn't like it.
Oh, he pretends. He pretends he doesn't like it. It's
No,
all an act.
I definitely don't like it. Oh, no, thank you. I can't think of much worse. Oh, somebody's here.
Well, I could easily think of many worse things.
What sports? I can only think of
Golf.
Hey, golf's great.
Oh,
to watch it's worse.
yeah, to
To
watch. Yeah,
play
to watch.
it's about the same, but it depends because I always like golf because I was always playing with footballers or other famous people. You know what I mean? Caddying for my uncle and that. It was always famous people who was doing. That's why I was caddying for him. So
Yeah, I'm just talking, just in the sense of being a viewer first. Just as
oh
a
yeah,
viewer, it's
Yeah. I can
even more
see why you don't
painful.
like viewing it.
Or
yeah.
or those American sports.
Oh God, I hate American football.
Yeah. And baseball. What's that all about?
Oh, it's rounders, but worse. I mean, how could you
Billy
make
Boyd's
rounders
rounders.
any less interesting to watch? But they've managed it.
I know.
That takes a
Bloody
special
awful.
skill. That
I don't even
does.
like basketball.
I
I'm
don't
not a
mind
basketball
basketball.
fan.
At
You
least
know.
it's fast. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
all go, so you can't get bored.
Very much of the same thing though. Then he score. Then you score. Then they score. Then they score.
Yeah,
And it's just
that's the problem
Agreed,
with too
hundred
many.
percent. Yeah, agreed, 100% with Billy. It's just you score, I score, you score, I score.
yeah,
It
yeah.
needs to be
Bit
more,
monotonous.
yeah, more build up and everything. Like
Yeah,
you put
well,
the
But it
not.
could
shot up and then you
yeah.
fluff the shot and then again.
It
But it
needs to
could be
be
It's
like
more.
too much.
United. It could be like United. They score. They score. They score. They score.
Oh, don't be so harsh on Newcastle United, mate. Come on. They have the brilliant mind, young and brilliant mind. Ex, not explain. Someone said that Eddie Howe was a young and brilliant mind.
Who said
Don't
that?
besmirch his name. Someone, and you replied.
This is how it was.
It was
Oh,
a post that went through you, Tris. You replied, he is young. That he has a good
yeah, there was.
yeah.
Oh yeah, I remember it now. Yeah, well, I was being nice. I mean, brilliant mind, Eddie Howe. What the? I think some people are just high on something, incredibly high. Something.
I can't see that appointment, how it works.
Are we
Are
gonna
you
do
going to
that?
get rid of it?
Are we gonna do that later?
Yeah,
Or
go on then, we'll do
should
it
we
later.
start with the reviews while we've got before we get before we get uh,
Yeah,
sidetracked like
absolutely.
usual?
No,
Yeah,
I
okay.
don't think we should
Oh,
review the games.
I think we definitely should review the games.
Yeah.
Yep,
Uh,
definitely.
yeah, I
Well,
There's
do.
no point.
we'll start with Southampton Villa. because that was the
Right.
first game. And Abid actually got the score right on this one, and it wasn't because he inputted his score late or anything.
Right.
And so I felt sorry for him being so many points behind. Nothing to do with that at all. He got it right, honestly.
Hey, I submitted it late as well and still got it wrong. Billy,
Says it all.
Billy, you may think I don't want to talk about the games because of our result. No, it's because this was probably the worst week anybody has in the prediction game.
Yeah,
Was it
could
a
be,
really
yeah.
bad work? I haven't had to look at it yet. I'm
Yeah.
going to do it as we're going along, just for some interest.
Yeah.
So at the
Up
moment after
until
this
Sunday.
game, you're ahead with 34. Billy's got 30 after this game because he got a point on this one.
Billy's
Rob got
gonna win this
21,
week.
and Abid's up to 7 because I gave him the 3 points for this one because I feel sorry for him. I never thought I'd do that in my life, feel sorry for Abid, but for once I actually feel sorry for him being so shit at something. Like life, he's shit
I
at life.
nearly
Really.
choked while laughing. I nearly choked while laughing.
If only
now.
that nearly wasn't there. Oh God.
Yeah, it was a good result for them, wasn't it? And they played all right, actually. It could have been 3-4 easily. They were by far the better team I seen. I didn't see all the game, but what I did see, Southampton were on top all the time.
Of all the weeks, sorry, Trish, of all the weeks of me backing Southampton, this was 1 week where I thought surely Aston Villa are going to turn things around. You might notice I've been more generous to us Southampton all along.
Yeah.
One fucking week.
They were waiting for you, that's what it was.
They just aren't clicking, are they, Aston Villa? They're not clicking
I was
at all.
going to say, was it Villa or that bad or Southampton that good? Because I watched it and I didn't think Southampton looked very good either. But they were still far superior to Villa. You know, it was just like...
Yeah, they
that's
were.
been the case. That's been the case with Southampton all season. They don't look good, but they somehow get the result. They got the result against us, Man City. Now,
to be fair, getting a result against Man United isn't difficult.
But for Southampton, it should be because I
don't know. It depends on if you're wearing your grey kit.
No, but if there wasn't Norwich and Watford around, people would be saying this is the worst team after Everton.
Well, obviously Watford's the worst, and then Everton.
Yeah.
Because they lost to Watford.
I agree with that.
And then Norwich, just above them. And then there's Newcastle. There's quite a lot, there's a lot of bad teams. And Villa seem to have just imploded as well.
Yeah, they have, yeah.
But surely we're going to talk about the change later on.
Yeah,
right?
we'll talk about the change later, so we'll just discuss the actual match. And really, there's not really a lot to talk about because it was just it wasn't much of a game, was it? It was just Southampton were a better side and won deservedly and should have won by more, really.
Yeah, I totally agree with that, Trish, yeah.
I don't think there's a lot more to say on it. I was really disappointed because there was no real controversy to discuss, is there, that I can remember? Unless I've missed something.
No.
Do you remember
anything?
It was
a very mediocre game.
There was just the talking point is what we're going to get to later on.
Yeah.
That's about
That's it, isn't it? That was the thing from it.
Yeah, that was the only takeaway.
Yeah. All right, then we'll move on to the next game, and I know you're excited to discuss this one, Deeps, because you had it down as a 3-2 win for Man United this game, and you only missed out by the 3 goals for Man United, so it wasn't bad for you.
You're close, yeah.
Billy had it down as a draw. At least Rob and Abid got the right result, so to speak.
Yeah.
They had a win. So you're on 34 now, Deeps. Billy's on 30. Rob's up to 22, and Abid's up to 8. It's closing fast. I bet you're worried now, aren't you?
Oh, I'm shaking with fear.
You should be after looking at your side on Saturday because they were not good, were they, Deeps?
Billy,
I watched the game right the way through there. I watched the game right the way through.
No clue. I'm not gonna watch us play another game when the clown is still at the helm. Ole out, then only you're gonna get deeps in. There's no way I'm watching it. I've had enough.
You know what? The only difference between the Liverpool results against United and the City was the goals. Both of them dominated Man United on their own turf, and they just never scored the goals like Liverpool did. But the domination, the possession, and the fight and the spirit of their teams compared to Man United, just chalk and cheese. Absolutely chalk and cheese. They could have won by half full, like Liverpool did, and they just dominated all game. It was a shocking performance by United, I thought.
It was a big shock. That,
Really?
I'm being
I
sarcastic.
wouldn't say so.
United were truly dreadful.
Well, to be fair to Ole, this is probably his first loss in the league against Guardiola.
Yeah, gee,
I'm
he
saying
normally does well
probably, but
against him, doesn't he?
yeah, that is why I went for 3-2 because he
Oh,
has
right.
a decent record against Man City.
He's got
Even
the
last-
best. He's got the best record against Pep Guardiola of any current. He had before that game. I don't know if he still has now. Before the match kicked off, he had the best record against Guardiola of any current Premier League manager.
Things amazing. And
Yeah,
Rob's
we-
with us now.
Oh bloody hell! We're really going downhill now. All right, Rob.
Yeah.
Morning, fellas.
Oh, you didn't
Hello,
have any
Rob.
trouble connecting then.
No.
We're getting a good. The connection's been good today, actually. Impressive. Since we got it working.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had a bit of problems to start with, but once we got it going, it seems to be brilliant now. How are you, Rob?
Not bad. How you going, Tris?
Well, I'm good, but I've not had to drag myself out of bed at 4 a.m. or whatever it is to do this.
3:30 today.
Oh, all right.
I say I feel sorry for you, but I get up at 3 a.m. every day, so.
How's everyone going?
Oh, good. We're all good.
Good, Billy?
Yeah, thanks, Rob. Yeah.
Oh,
We're
good,
discussing Man United at the moment. I don't know whether you got to see that game.
Yeah,
Man United.
Good
I watched
timing to
that.
come in there, Rob? So you get to talk about United.
yeah. Well, that's one of the games I watched, so it was a good watch.
Deeps doesn't seem to agree. Yeah. For some reason, he didn't enjoy it. I can't understand him.
Is Deeps here?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
am.
How you going, Deeps?
Well, I'm going quite bad if we're talking about footballing terms. That clown is still in the job. How the hell is he still in the job?
Sorry, I've gone. Sorry. I'm gonna pull myself together. Sorry, Deeps, I'm not quite understanding. How do you feel about Ole at the moment? I'm not sure. I think you need to get off the fence and let us know.
Well, Ole is at the wheel and the bus is falling off a cliff right now. Get him off.
Yeah. It really is deep, yeah. Really is. They were awful. How that back four don't concede more is amazing, by the way, because they're all
Well-
terrible.
Billy, sorry to break it to you, but it's a back five now.
All right, the back five's even worse than the back four then. They always
Well,
look as
it's
though
a
they're going
blind-
to concede.
It's the blind leading the blind, so it's gonna get worse.
The thing
Yeah,
I
I
don't
think
get,
so,
I've
Deep.
got to say, I just while I remember, the thing that the only real talking point I can see, because it was such an easy win for City, I think the only real talking point is why was Luke Shaw carrying on playing after he was clearly concussed?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
yeah.
Well, what's happened? They got a concussion sub, so there's no excuse. They wouldn't have to use one of their 3 subs up. What was going on there? Why was he not taken off immediately? You could see he was gone. He was absolutely, his eyes were gone and everything.
Yeah.
Thinking, what are they playing at? It's a disgrace
Who
that he
the-
was allowed to carry on.
Who the hell is the doctor that allows those sort of things? And it's not just for Luke Shaw. Like, I've seen it many times. Once the player has concussion, don't let them get in the field because they're not gonna make another 5 minutes, let alone get through the game.
Well, it's not just that. It's dangerous. It can kill you for starters. For
I
second,
thought there was a law, Tris. I thought there was a law now
Yeah.
that you've got to go off.
yeah,
You got concussion.
you have. That's why they got the concussion subs.
That's
Yeah,
why I'm
but-
blaming the doctors because I think the law says it's the doctor's decision now.
Yeah.
It's
And
not
it was
up to the
clear. It
players.
wasn't a clear and obvious. You could see immediately that he was not right, even before he started playing
Yeah.
again. You could see it while they were treating him. You were thinking that lad's gone. He's definitely concussed. He's got to come off. And then they carry on. But I mean, it's not even like you're in contention to win the game. It's not like it was we'll keep him in there because we might get a result here, is it?
No.
There was absolutely no reason to take the risk as well.
Well, as Deeps was saying, Tris, is there a point where the manager would be able to have a word with the doctor and say, we don't want him off, keep him on, and give him orders because they're employed by the club. So could there be a case that the manager, like happened with Mourinho a few years ago with the lady doctor, where he said, don't, he's not coming off in the game, and he got fined thousands or something. But could it be a thing that they said we want him on?
Yeah,
Would
that
be a
can
point?
that can happen. The manager can and quite often they do. Like it used to happen all the time, obviously. But
Yeah.
the doctor's got a duty of care, and they can be struck off for these kind of things. You know what I mean? Because they're not doing
Well,
their
they
job.
should.
Yeah,
They
exactly.
should be then, shouldn't
Yeah,
they?
but don't you think the Premier League or whatever the league should have a doctor of their own that takes
Yeah.
this sort of decision and
Well-
take the whole club and the employment thing out of the ground.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, and
You're
have
right,
an
Dean.
independent
Every game.
doctor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, I've also think you should have an extra medical staff guy who's just watching replays of every instant. And I was thinking this because of the Ogbonna injury as well at the weekend,
Yeah.
because they
yeah.
allowed him to play on, and it was clear. I said straight away on the on our widget, I said straight away that looks like I said that that's worrying. That looks bad. I thought straight away he's done his ACL there. You could see he has. He's got a history of knee problems as well. But they allowed him to play on, and I was thinking maybe the problem was they didn't see how bad they didn't see what had happened because of where they're sat. So maybe if they had somebody watching a replay of what happened to him on his knee and why he went down and how he went down, maybe they'd have taken him off and his knee injury wouldn't be as bad as it is. But you could clearly see he'd done his ACL. It wasn't like it was an eye injury that he came off with. They carried on playing for ages and he was barely moving. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
These and again with the concussion thing, maybe they need an extra body in there to just watch the incident and say, no, he's concussed. You've got to get him off. You know what I mean? Somebody who's
It's got to be an
watching.
independent body. It's got to be
Yeah.
an independent body for me, Tris. You
Yeah.
can't have people employed by the club making decisions on health grounds. It's got to be an independent one for both teams who comes and says that he's got to go off and he's not coming back on.
No, I agree with that. That's what I mean. They just need somebody who's watching the thing and say, or runs on if it's a head injury, has to go on and check them. That's who the doctor
Yeah.
shouldn't be employed by the clubs for head injuries. It should be an independent one. I think that's the best way. I mean, the team doctor can go with them and watch over them and say, I disagree with them by all means, but the final say has to be taken out of the club's
Independence,
hands.
yeah.
It has to be because it's just wrong.
Yeah,
We know it's Luke Shaw, and it's difficult to tell because he's such a divvy to start with. You know what I mean? But like, he
Yeah.
could have suffered serious brain damage if he'd had a break.
Give the lad a break. He has a concussion. Come on, please.
I know, but he
some
plays like he's
humanity.
got concussion every week. So it's a bit difficult to tell. Without Jose Mourinho there to do all his thinking for him, he's got a problem, hasn't he, that lad?
How the hell did that second goal go in? It come past Maguire, just let it go. It come past Shaw, he let it go. Silva got a little touch to it, and it went right through the hands of De Gea on the post. It was a bizarre goal. Absolutely, I didn't know it was in. I'll be honest with you.
Not many people realize it went in.
I didn't know. I really didn't at the time. It was terrible defending, though, Deep. The two of them, Maguire and Shaw, to let that go. And the keeper never actually got by. 3 men there within the space of a yard. And there was only one who put his foot to it, which is Bernardo Silva.
There's just renderings around us by the looks of it.
Yeah,
Let's move on. Next game.
You really weren't expecting.
Next game.
You really weren't expecting De Gea to miss that one, though, because he'd been playing so well.
Yeah, he made a couple of good saves as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but blame De Gea as much as we want, but the ball shouldn't reach to that point.
No, I know
that happens
so
many times with our defense.
They're all.
The keeper doesn't need to be bailing you out when that sort of situation is happening.
City were just toying with you as well. I mean, that was an I don't know if there's much we can talk about. What do you think, Rob? Is there anything else you can add? Because I think it's like.
I can't add much more other than what you guys have said and what I saw. To me, it's kind of it's sad to see, like.
Oh,
they were playing at home.
Whoa! Hang on! What did you take that back straight away? Whoa! Come on!
You'd honestly think in such a magnitude of a game, you'd at least try and win it. They look like they didn't even try and win that.
No.
They weren't pressing. They weren't doing anything. Like you said, City just toyed with them. They look like they were in second gear the whole game. De Gea bailed them out time and time again in the first half. Then that goal goes in, right at the end, and that was kind of the killer. It's like it killed everything in it. But yeah, just real bad performance. If I was United support, I'd be real disappointed because it looked like they didn't even try and win.
Well, it comes to something when I was saying it comes to something when Ronaldo's your hardest working player on the pitch. I was saying all the which it's just like I disbelief because he stands and watches most of the game to save himself for the moments when he can get on the ball. But he was actually the only one who made any effort to close down. Greenwood is such a lazy get. And the other one, what's his name? Bruno Fernandes.
No.
Bruno Fernandes as well. The pair of them do not track back at all. They half-arse it. They make Tielemans look like a grafter when it comes to defending.
No. Greenwood can do his work both ways, but
it doesn't.
He is only learning his job.
That's no excuse. That's no excuse.
Listen.
The first thing they should learn is to track back.
You hear me out. He has been learning his job as a right winger. Now he's been asked to do a different job by a clueless clown. So I'm not gonna give him any slack.
Sorry. No, you can't have that as an excuse when you're playing against your derby rival.
Yeah.
You play for the derby is a different matter.
Say that. No. We say that, but it happens. You show me a single player that doesn't do his job under Antonio Conte. It doesn't happen. We have this problem because we have an idiotic clown running the show. Get him out of my club.
I know that, Dix. I can see what you're saying, right? But
Billy, just answer me.
You've got to track back. If it's not happening for you drop deeper and you work harder. And you look for the ball a bit deeper if it's not going for you. You don't just stand there like Greenwood did at the weekend.
Exactly.
Oh yeah, I didn't watch the game, but answer me this, Billy. Do you think the Everton players are working harder under Benitez now than they
Yeah.
did on
Yes.
the
Yes,
Anfield.
they are, yeah.
Even
They really put in effort at
Yeah.
the weekend, Deeps.
Yeah. They really did. I've got no
See-
problem with what happened for the weekend.
see,
Yeah, but that was
we
a
have
reaction because they had
we
a
have a
bad result.
clueless clown.
Yeah,
we
but
have a
that
clueless
is
clown. Blame the
that
clown.
Benitez, or is that the fact the players just felt bad about the last few results, like, and tried to put it right?
Yeah,
Don't care.
absolutely.
Blame the clown. I'm just gonna say
I'm
blame
sorry,
the clown. If anybody
Greenwood's-
is gonna
I'm
abuse me,
sorry.
come abuse me. I don't care.
It's no
But get
excuse
Ole
for a
out of
player
the
to
club.
stand with his hands in his pockets for 90 minutes. No excuse
Oh,
No,
if,
you're
whatsoever.
right.
if I was playing under Ole, I would be doing the same. Get in the
Nah,
sack.
not in
Anyway,
a
yeah.
derby match,
He's a
mate.
fan.
No,
You
you've
can
got
say
to
that,
have.
but he's
you-
a fan.
Mm,
Greenwood
sorry.
is a fan.
I-
He knows that he's
Yeah,
the
exactly.
cancer
He's a
for
fan of the
and
club,
he
so
wants
he
to get
should
in.
care.
No, yeah, that is why he isn't playing well.
No,
Because if he scores, then Ole is at the job.
Nah, that's nonsense. I'm
Oh,
sorry, I don't believe
yeah.
that at all.
You can't make an excuse for him, Deeps.
Yeah.
He was very poor.
He was
very
lazy.
poor.
Lazy, and it's
Oh,
been a
you-
thing throughout his career. He's not been working hard enough when it comes to tracking back.
Well, if I'm just gonna put aside my hatred for Oli right now, then I'm gonna say that has been his issue even as a young kid coming up, that he picks and chooses his moment to
Yes.
try to get the ball back. That has been one of his
Yeah,
weakness in the game. Let's say.
I love
Yeah.
that.
That's
Yeah,
more
but-
like it.
No, but he did the right thing. Anything
He
to get
never
Ole
done
out
the
of the
right
job.
No, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Anything to get Ole out of the job.
No.
I've had enough of the clown.
I can see your point saying that, but no, you don't as a player. Don't give up.
No,
Never give up.
no, that's just wrong, Deeps. You can't.
I'd
No.
love to end this this game on a famous quote from a Man United club legend, if I could.
About Fred, is it? Yeah.
No, it's by Rio Ferdinand. I'm sure that Deeps will remember this one. You ready?
Go on.
I can't
Go
do it
on,
in his voice, so I'll have to do it in my voice.
Go on.
Get the contract out, put it on the table, let him sign it, whatever number he likes. For what he's done since he's come in, let him sign the contract and go. Ole's at the wheel, man. He's doing it. He's doing his thing. Man United are back.
I've seen that, yeah. I've seen that video.
Even he's changed his mind though now, Ali.
Yeah, he has. He seems to have changed his mind.
But did you see the aftermath where Roy Keane was talking about Fred, and he said how he can ever be a player at Manchester United? He said, you've got to be kidding me. He said, he is nowhere near good enough to be in the United side. You know, a bit harsh on Fred.
No, he's spot on, Bill.
No, he's spot on. I've been saying that
Yeah,
since
but
before
wait.
they signed him. I was saying he's crap. I mean, it's not. Doesn't.
No,
This
but,
is what
but
I don't
I want
understand.
to. Yeah,
How
I want
did
to
they
have a
sign
go
him?
at Keane for this. I want to have a go at Keane for this.
Oh.
He can say this player isn't good, that player isn't good, but he doesn't have the balls to say that the manager isn't good. The manager should be the one that takes the slack for producing these sort of hopeless
Yeah, I agree with
performances
that.
again
I like
and
that,
again,
yeah.
picking those same useless players again and again. That
Yeah.
should be where the buck stops. The buck should stop at the manager. And yeah, maybe people might think I was being serious when I was trying to defend Greenwood. No, it was a derby game. It doesn't matter. Let me make it clear. Even though I'm an Ole hater, I would be one of the happiest person on earth if we went on to win the league and Champions League. Yeah, I don't think it's ever gonna happen. But when things go wrong, even if the players are slightly in the wrong, it's the manager who takes the blame because it's his players.
Yeah, I can see that. That's a fair point.
You've had more than
Yeah,
two
if
more
he
than
keeps
two
picking
summer
Fred,
windows.
it's his own fault
Yeah.
at the end of the day.
He
Yeah, I
isn't
agree
been
with that.
forced. He isn't been forced to pick Fred. He doesn't have the balls to say we're gonna play Mattis and Van de Beek, let's say.
Yeah,
Or
exactly.
he doesn't
He's
have the
got
balls to say
options.
instead of this £51 million signing, Yeah, yeah. Instead of this 51 million pound signing, I'm gonna
51
give a
million.
chance to a young academy lad who did well on loan.
Yeah, 51 million. I mean, Garner last season played really well. This season he's
Yeah,
having a
exactly the guy.
stinking
Yeah.
season. But like,
No, he
you
had
know,
a
I was going to say it.
on
The,
and
the
off.
mental thing of like having a brilliant season, starring, and then the club sending you back to the same team again the following season at the same level. That must be really hard to get yourself up for again the next season. I'm not mad keen on loans anyway, as you know. I don't think it's the best way to develop youngsters, personally.
And
It's
even
very
then, you
rare
need
it
to be
works.
taking next, a step up in your game
Yeah, you've
every other
got to.
time.
Yeah, that's the way they've got to work. You've got to step them up, and
Yeah.
United have just sent him straight back to the same team, literally the same team, at the same level. So what? How is he improving? He's already
Who's
shown
this
he's
we're
good
talking
enough.
about?
Garner, James Garner.
Oh,
Yeah, he's at Nottingham Forest.
Yeah, since leaving acting, He went on to join Man United. I don't know if you remember James Garner, any of you lot. Billy will, because he's probably about his
Yeah.
age. He was one of Bruce Lee's pallbearers. Because he
Oh,
used to
Was
okay.
it?
train
Yeah,
with
I
him.
didn't know that.
Yeah, he was one of his pupils. That's the
All
only reason I
right,
know
didn't
who
know
he
that.
is. I've never heard of him otherwise. I don't know what he did. I just know he was one of Bruce Lee's pallbearers and a pupil of his. Know nothing, I don't know what films, TV shows, anything he was in. Like, I just know that. So I always looked out for Garner when he first appeared, just because the name jumped out, and he was brilliant in the youth levels. And now he's just not getting a chance.
Yeah. Well, I think we've discussed Man United enough. I
Yeah.
don't know that we can say anymore.
And I don't think
Because
that.
it was
Oh,
just
you
a
could.
diabolical
I'm just gonna
performance.
throw you guys a rumor so you guys can have a good chuckle at it. Brendan Rodgers to Manchester United.
Oh, I think that'd be great. Brilliant side. That'd be
Is
a
that-
brilliant
My
choice.
boss, it would be great.
No, it would be. It'd be brilliant. Can
No,
you
it
imagine
wouldn't.
his press conferences where he's doing his best David Brent impression? Brilliant. Oh, it'd be fantastic. And you know full well that every time you got a chance of doing anything, he'd bottle it. So he's perfect. He's absolutely perfect as a non-Man United fan. It's a bit like the choice between keeping Ole or getting him in. What's the difference? I don't care. You know, they're both great.
Oh, you-
As a non-Man United fan, they're brilliant.
But there are worse options out there, like the Westcourt wearer Gareth Southgate. We
Oh no!
are
Oh, he'd be
quite a
good as
club.
well.
Come on, we
He's
are quite a club.
Well, that's what they're pretty much waiting for by the looks of it, isn't it? That's why they're hanging on. End of the season,
Yeah.
isn't he finishing at the end of the season?
No,
Southgate,
like
isn't it?
no,
the World
I
Cup
think
this summer, next year, and then his
no.
contract's up with
But
England,
what
and then
is
he can take
World
over.
Cup is World Cup
After
isn't
the
in
World
summer.
Cup.
It's gonna
Yeah,
be
you know
around
what I
12
mean.
months
It's
from now.
Yeah, you know what I mean. It's what,
Yeah.
November, isn't it? November, December. I mean, once that's done, his contract's up and he's ready to jump into the Man United hot seat, where he'd be perfect as well. He'd be even better than Brendan, I reckon.
You reckon?
Oh, definitely. As a non-Man United fan speaking, obviously. If I was a Man United fan, I'd be crying every night at the thought of those two. Either of them. That's
Right,
like
come
your
on,
worst
let's move
nightmare.
on from Man United now.
We haven't
They've
even
had
spoken
enough
about Man
airtime.
City.
Man City were very good. They controlled the game, absolutely walked all over United and scored 2 goals. That was enough. Took the foot off the gas and had a little training session in the second half.
Do you think Can I just say something? Do you think they did
Go on.
take their foot off the gas, or do you think they just never got out of first gear from the start, and that was just they managed to score
Maybe.
2 goals without even breaking sweat, and they just stayed in first
Yep.
gear, never bothered trying? That was what it looked
Yeah,
like
you
to
could
me.
be right, Trish, yeah.
Rather
Yeah.
than they took their foot off the gas, they just never turned. They just never bothered trying because they had it so easy. I've never
Yeah.
seen such a pathetic performance in a derby from a side as Man United put in. Honestly. But we'll
I
move
agree
on.
with that.
I think said enough on that before Deeps hangs himself or something, because he's starting to sound really wound up now. So we'll move on to the. This is probably the biggest shock result of the weekend, I'd have to say.
No,
Even I'd have to say I think this is the biggest. Brentford getting beaten at home by Norwich. Because it's Norwich. Because it's Norwich rather than because Brentford obviously they're missing their goalkeeper, which is a big thing because they play. They're very reliant on him, and I think that's causing them major problems because their form's died since he got injured, and he's pretty. I think he's out for the season as well, isn't he? Pretty much. So that could be a problem for them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they've been doing very well, but Norwich, to the credit, they battled harder than I've seen them battle all season, and look more organised, which beggars the thing that he gets his first win and then gets sacked. But I know we're going to come on to the managers, but Brentford looked a shadow of the side that played against Liverpool. And the side that gave Man United a good game.
whoa.
Nearly beat City as well.
We haven't played them. We
City,
haven't
you
played
mean?
them, have we?
I think he meant City.
I'm sorry,
I
I meant
think it was
City. I
Chelsea.
didn't mean City.
Maybe
Yeah,
Chelsea.
Chelsea. They were brilliant against. They were just unlucky with
Yeah,
their
they were
finishing.
great against
With their
Chelsea. Yeah,
finishing.
sorry, Deeps. Yeah.
Because surely we can't beat the great teams like Brentford. Come on.
No, you can't. No.
With this run of form, no.
I don't know, the way Brentford are playing, I can see they're looking like they're going to go down now.
Well, they will. I think they've got a bit too much to go down. But they are in trouble and they need to get a win. They do need to get a win.
When you
because
lose,
they were awful.
when you lose against Norwich, you're in trouble.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, you should have enough to beat Norwich. You've got to have enough to beat Norwich to stay in the league.
Yeah, if you're going to lose to them, then you're in trouble. I mean, it's not like they showed anything special to beat them. The problem with Brentford, without their keeper and they've got a few other injuries in defence and that, they've just not got any strength and depth at all. So so unless they start getting players back, they're really gonna struggle.
Do you think this highlights the lack of youth academy or whatever term you use them? They don't have an academy system, right?
Well, they do have youth teams. They just don't have an academy system. They've scrapped it and gone to a B team system, haven't they? They've gone
Yeah, I think the way they run is they just pick and choose all the guys that get released from other London clubs.
But that's
Chelsea,
pretty much.
Arsenal,
But that's pretty much what teams like that always do. Leighton Orient and all that. That's how they get their players, because they can't get the best ones because they go to Chelsea or Arsenal or. So they've always had to do that. They've always had to pick off the ones that drop out. Aren't quite making it at Chelsea or Arsenal, whatever. So. Yeah, I don't think that's an issue. I think the problem is that the B team system they've got isn't working either. It isn't any better than the academy system. In fact, it seems to be even worse.
That is what I'm trying to say. It doesn't seem to be able to provide any cover for the squad, and the injuries and all those minor issues they eventually end up facing.
Yeah, they
don't have a big squad either.
Yeah, they're very reliant on the Matthew Benham's statistical analysis to flag up the players to look at. But maybe they're missing a lot of players that are cheaper options that could fill in gaps as well by doing that.
And sometimes players are victims of system and
exactly
the service they get sometimes.
Yeah, and their stats might suffer because of it. I see stats can be padded as well. I remember a few years ago it was an Arsenal defender. I can't remember which one it was. One of the crap ones though. had the best passing stats in the entire Premier League. And you're thinking, well, you know, he was just literally every pass was going 5 yards sideways. That was why his passing stats were by far and away the best. It wasn't because he was any good.
Yeah.
So
You can pass it sideways, or backwards and still a completed pass. Yeah. Stats don't mean very much, to be honest with you.
No, you need to have context, and unless you're actually watching the game as well, you can't provide context. So you may as well just send a scout look at the stats, and then the scout can pour over the stats afterwards. There's no reason to work on a pure statistical analysis basis, really. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, an example I always use when people talk stats is you can have 3 goals in 3 by scoring a hat trick in 1 goal and playing shit 2 games, or scoring 1 goal in all 3 games.
Oh, assist.
Different outcome.
Mohamed Salah gets an assist for the Trent Alexander-Arnold free kick goal. You like that one you threw up? No, that's ludicrous. I didn't realise that was how it worked. I mean, personally, the man who should get an assist in that situation when he gets to win the free kick. Though obviously Salah didn't exactly get fouled, so it just doesn't make sense, does it?
No. But I think we're all saying that Brentford were awful the weekend. Norwich showed a bit of fight and a bit of pluck, and I know it's going to do them no good, but, you know, kudos to them for giving it a go and getting the first win. You know, that's all we can say about that, I think.
Anything to add, Rob? Because you've been very quiet.
Yeah, I was just listening. I didn't get to see the Norwich the Norwich-Brentford game after all the smashing we gave Norwich last week. It was only fitting for them to come and... because we've been hammering them for a bit. It was only fitting for them to finally win a game. But no, good on them. Completely agree what you said about the goalkeeper Raya. They'll struggle big without him. And look, I like Brentford. I'd like to see them up by the end of the season and not get relegated, because I think there's something there. They're exciting to watch. Got a pretty cool manager, new stadium, things like that. So hopefully they don't go down, but I think you're right. I think from here on it's going to be, a lot harder than it has already been for them. So wait and see what happens.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay then, we'll move on to Chelsea-Burnley, which is another surprise result. A 1-1 draw.
Yeah.
It's the first open play goal Chelsea have conceded this season, which surprises me because they were there. Brentford cut them apart easily defensively.
Yeah.
You can't say that they were defending well in that game. It was just every shot hit the keeper. So it's quite shocking that they've managed to keep keep out so many shots.
Yeah, I remember the predictions last week were 3-0, 4-0, and
3-0, 1-0, 4-0, and 3-0. That was the predictions.
Yeah. I said 1-0. I said it wouldn't be as easy a game as what we thought. They got Lukaku out and they got Timo Werner out. But that wasn't an excuse when they scored 7 past Norwich. So I'm not using it as an excuse now. But Burnley, the last couple of weeks, started to get their act together a bit. And they're difficult to beat. Although Chelsea, they should be. Chelsea have got to beat the Burnleys in the serious about winning the title. And they slipped up big time for me.
Yeah, Burnley have stepped up, though, it must be said. They've started to finally find their feet. In fact, they were lucky not to win, weren't they? From what I saw.
I only see better again.
But they were
also lucky not to lose as well. Yeah,
supposedly, they were lucky to be 1-0, only 1-0 down until they scored. So
yeah, swings and roundabouts, isn't it?
Yeah, but that is what happens whether it's Liverpool, Man City, or Chelsea, whoever it is. It doesn't matter how good you are. If you don't take your chances enough, it is eventually going to come back and bite you up the backside.
Yeah.
Oh, so there's not a lot we can add to that, though. Is there anything you got to say, Rob?
No.
It's still pretty early, but what's going on with Saul? I mean, is he settling or?
He struggled to keep up with the pace of it. They've got him working with on his own, doing extra work with a coach to get him up to pace and that, and he's desperate to get in the team and start playing, but it's just a bit of a problem getting adjusted to the pace because it's so much
he's just
quicker.
settling in.
Yeah, it's early
And
days.
before,
Look at Robertson.
Yeah, before
It took
people-
6 months to get in the team at Liverpool.
you
And
took
he
the
came
words
from-
out of my mouth.
and he came from the same league. And,
Yeah,
you know,
same
Fabinho,
language, same league,
6
everything, and
months.
still sometimes people just struggle. Yeah,
Sometimes it just
Donny van de Beek, never.
Yeah, well, that'll be 13 years and he'll still be as subtle as some to get him 5 minutes here or there if Ollie's in charge, which he will be because I think he's there for life now. I think he's going to break Ferguson's record for the longest serving manager ever. We'll all be dead and buried before he finishes, trust me. That I hope anyway.
Saul doesn't like the closing down either. He's better out when he gets closed down.
That is what happens. He has, sorry to cut you off, Billy, but he has played under only one manager, and I know he has had some loan spells, but by and large, he has only learned to play one way under one manager, and maybe that is also affecting his overall versatility of the game and his flexibility in his game. Maybe.
That's fair enough, Deep,
Because I'm not going to accept anyone saying that he maybe isn't good enough because he is that good. For me, he's that good.
Oh, he's a fantastic player. I would have loved him to have signed for Liverpool. I've been saying I would have loved him for years. I would have killed for him to join Liverpool.
And I would have loved him to be a Manchester United bench warmer right now.
I
Because he ain't getting past Fred and McTominay. Come on.
Yeah, he wouldn't have got a game, would he? Let's be honest.
Yeah,
I mean, how could he get in past Fred? I mean,
yeah, he would be playing tiki taka with Van der Beek in the bench.
Didn't Ole come out and congratulate Van der Beek for the warm up he was doing at half time or something the other day? I mean, talk about taking the piss out of the poor lad.
Yeah, but that is, I think, is one of his popularity attempts because Van der Beek got a rapturous applause when he came on midweek.
Aye. He every time you can hear the crowd cheering for him. That's the thing.
Yeah.
When Ollie brings him on, he gets the biggest cheer of the game. You just think it's embarrassing. Anyway, we shouldn't be doing Man United. It's supposed to be doing.
No.
What were we doing? Chelsea, Burnley, weren't we?
Chelsea, they slipped up, didn't they? Chelsea slipped up. They had to beat them. They wrote the luck in the first half, and as we were saying before, it could have been 2, could have been 3 at half time. Burnley battled back, got a draw. Good luck to them. Good luck to Burnley.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and Burnley always start the season very slowly and then build up the momentum. So maybe it's a turning point for them.
Fingers crossed, because I don't want to see them go down. I like Dyche. I know most people don't, but I do. I like him.
I don't really mind Burnley getting. Yeah, I don't mind Burnley getting relegated or staying up, but I don't want to see Dyche get another relegation on his
exactly.
CV because he already has an uphill task every season with lack of funds and lack of signings and everything. So more power to him, I say.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't care about Burnley one way or the other. Then I've got no beef with them, but they're just Burnley, aren't they? You know what I mean? They're of no difference to a Liverpool fan. Let's be honest. But it's Sean Dyche. I like him. I think he works hard. He performs minor miracles there every season. He deserves to keep doing it until somebody bigger comes in and offers him a proper budget, or they give him a proper budget, whichever comes first, so we can see what he can do. Anyway, shall we move on to Palace Wolves?
Yeah. Let's move on to Palace Wolves.
And this was 2-0 to Palace, and Billy and Abid both got 1 point for this one because you both said 2-1. Rob and Deeps both had it down as a draw.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, Palace are doing well, and fair play.
Wait. Sorry to cut you off again, Billy. But how is Abid getting points on every match? When did he
No, he didn't.
turn
He did.
into
No, he gave
decent?
me it just after the Southampton Villa game finished. So the only ones he got, he's only got points on the Man U, Man City, and this one. He didn't get points on Brentford, Norwich, or Chelsea, Burnley. Don't worry.
Oh, okay. And before anybody is saying sour grapes, I know I wrote down my predictions, so I know I've done horrible, and even Abid might catch me this week.
No, he's only up to 9, Deeps. He's up to 9. You're on 34. You're well clear. In fact, I've totaled up the scores. You've got no worries. You're still 4 points clear at the end of the week. Because at the end of the week, you're up to 36. Billy's up to 32. So Billy only got 2 points as well in total. Rob's up to 23. He only got 2 points. And Abid's up to 11. He only got 4 points. So, and 3 of them I gave him out of pity.
Speak of the devil, and the devil is here, it seems.
Oh God,
No,
well,
exactly.
he's not
Freaking
signed
right.
in, has he? Oh, he'll be asking for the frigging link in a minute. Who's going to give him one? I'm fed up with it.
I will, okay.
No, let him stew there and ignore him.
Well, let's talk about Vieira now. How well he's done
Yeah.
in recent weeks. He's had some great results. To play some decent football. I love the Chelsea lad on loan that's there. Looks a really good player, and they're all putting their heads on the line there and playing well. You know, they're a hard team to beat at the moment, and they've had some really good results. So, you know, you've got to give Vieira a bit of congratulations there for doing really well.
Yeah, he's got that Elise still to come in because he's only coming off the bench.
Yeah.
Ebreze is still out.
Yeah,
injured,
that's
so,
it. Yeah, he's coming back. No, he's come back to fitness. He's back in training.
Yeah, but he's to return to the team, and he still has some options he can use when he needs them. So let's see what happens.
Yeah, that Eze he's a good quality player. He started to really pick up his work rate before he got injured. It's a shame.
Do you know played well? Zaha played very well as well. You know, and he's not everyone's cup of tea, but when he's on, and he's a hard player to play against when he's on form like that. They are playing really well. And Palace are no walkover for any side at the moment, are they? And, you know, 2 good goals as well, so good luck to them.
Conor Gallagher.
Yeah, Conor Gallagher looks a player, doesn't he? He really does look a player.
Yeah, he's a hard worker. I don't mind him.
Brilliant grafter, but he's still a bit of a headless chicken. He still needs a bit more. He's starting to get better at it. I've got to say, he's made huge strides in in learning when and where to run this season. Huge strides. At West Brom, he was just literally all over the place, and most of the time not where they needed him. But this season, he's started to improve massively in his reading of the game and being in better positions.
It still wants an invite, by the way.
No.
It's like a kid looking through the window at the party.
It's. I'll try again. I'm not freaking trying. Leave him there moaning.
I sent him one directly to him as well.
He'll never see it. Oh God's sake, it's pitiful, really, isn't it?
One of these days, I am gonna shoot a video just to teach him how to click the word general.
Oh, he still wouldn't get it. He still wouldn't get it.
That is it now.
Finally.
Oh God!
have this-
Right,
I
we've
don't get
finished.
all this technology shit, man.
We'll-
I'm
we'll have
telling
to
you, I'm
finish the
happy with a
podcast
piece
now.
of paper and a pen.
That's it. We've done that. We've finished.
Oh, man.
Now
You
you're-
have it.
I'm good, guy. Billy, how are you, mate?
Oh, you sound really clear today.
I'm good, mate.
I'm watching the cricket as I speak with you guys, man. What an exciting game.
Oh, God.
How
Got
we
a
going?
nice edge.
Start again.
How we going? We all right?
Oh.
How you doing, Rob? You alright, mate? Hey, Deeps, you
Good,
good?
mate.
I'm surprised you're not
good,
watching
absolutely.
Australia nearly get into the final, Rob.
Yeah, I was just about to check the score. How we going?
125 for 5. Pakistan got 176, so the target's 177.
It's 126. It's 126 for 5. You're a bit behind.
Oh, am I okay? Sorry. How you guys
Right.
going? You good?
Yeah, good, Alan, yeah.
Oh, the Rangers site's going a bit haywire, isn't it?
Hi.
Oh, we've not reached it.
Yeah, we're not reached it. We're still on the game reviews at the moment. It took us. It
Should
took
be
us.
quick 'cause
It took
nobody
us. No,
watches any football anymore, obviously.
well, it took us half an hour to get through Deep's crying about Man United.
Oh, I see. I mean, yeah, I suppose
Yeah.
you got a point, I suppose.
Oh
Yeah.
God, he cried as well. He properly cried, mate. He had a full-on breakdown and everything.
Did you give him your shoulder?
No, Rob did, because you weren't here.
Oh.
So he's
Your
cheating
hand
on you. You're gonna have to
shoulder.
watch him.
Shoulders just for Abbott.
What's that, Rob?
My shoulders just for you.
I'm glad to hear it, bitch. Oh, happy days. What's next, guys?
The next game?
Brighton versus
What's the next game,
Newcastle.
Chris?
Guarantee nobody watched it.
Brighton versus Newcastle.
Yeah, I watched it.
Yeah, that was the game. That was the main game.
1-1,
here,
right?
So yeah, 1-1. That was the main game they were showing here, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then wasn't that the one Callum Wilson got dropped at the end? I mean, he fell down at the end. He got clipped by the keeper.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a great foul to give away. That was a brilliant foul to give away, to be fair. As cynical fouls go, he would have scored.
Mm. Yeah, and then they lose.
But Newcastle,
Yeah.
You don't know.
Oh,
You don't know if you would have scored. Might I remind you, Fernando Torres, round the keeper over the bar.
You like
You
it?
don't know?
Yeah, no, you're right, Deeps. You're right.
But-
You're right.
Alright, 99% chance he'd have scored then. Better?
yeah, that's about right.
You've done
Have we
well on
talked
your
about
predictions,
have you-
by the way, Abid. You caught up
What's
a
that,
long
mate?
way. You did well on your predictions. You got the most points this week.
Whee!
You're on track
Admittedly-
to reach double figures.
Yeah, admittedly, because I gave you those 3 points out of sympathy for Southampton Villa because you didn't get
Well,
the
I did
score.
get it right after the fact.
Yeah. But that's why you did well.
I did predict you're never going to go out this year, so I should have a few points for that.
I was actually out earlier. I got sunburned.
Oh my God!
I've got to get a hat. Keep saying it every single day. I always say it because I always come back with sunburn. That's the trouble with being ginger.
Oh.
Uncle Chris.
Have you talked about Eddie Howe?
No, we're doing
Not yet, no.
the managers at the end because there's
Match
so many of
reviews.
them. Once we've done all
Oh,
the
right.
reviews. So is there anything else to add to the Brighton Newcastle game result review? Whatever.
No,
I
I
thought
think
it was
Brighton shot themselves in the foot a bit there,
Yeah.
and Newcastle come back, got a draw. No craft of the day, and good luck to them.
Brighton need a better
Why
keeper.
Yeah, I think
Maybe
you're right,
Louis
Rob.
Dunk. Maybe Louis Dunk. He kept a clean sheet, but Newcastle didn't try to score past him. Didn't even
Yeah.
take a direct free kick. The genius
you know
of John
what, Dave?
Costello strikes again.
Yeah,
that was you make a very valid point.
Why
They
didn't
didn't
go
have
for it?
any. They didn't pressurize at all.
Yeah, take a long pot shot.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You just shoot from the moment you get the ball. You just hit it towards the goal and out, don't you? Bizarre.
Put some long ball. Put some high balls in the area.
Yeah.
Test him. They did nothing.
No.
That Graham Jones doesn't
Yeah,
know
especially-
how to put a team to attack at all, does he? It's just everybody behind the ball, and we'll just sit there and see what happens. That seems to be
To
his
be
tactics.
fair, Eddie Howe doesn't know how to attack either. So
No,
Oh, he
No,
knows how to attack.
It's
His
defending.
defending. That's horrible.
yeah.
yeah, I think it was. I think it was a valid score. 1-1 was a valid score.
Yeah, Brighton were poor.
Brighton
It must
shot
be said.
themselves in the foot. Yeah, they did.
They just weren't
I
at
think-
it.
Well, next,
I think Brighton just need a stimuli in their squad. They need 2 or
Goal
3
scorer.
players to actually. Yeah.
They're still
They
missing
need
a proper out-and-out goal scorer.
Yeah, they're lacking a little bit.
So we move on to
Upside down.
Arsenal Watford then.
Yes.
1-0 to Arsenal. You all had even the right score, but not the right not the right score. I mean, right result, but not the right
Right.
score.
Yeah. Watford could have got an equaliser actually in that game. I wasn't that impressed with Arsenal, to be honest with you. They were poor, yeah, and they had a couple of good chances to score Watford. How, I don't know, but they did. And Arsenal are getting the results, and, they shot right up the table at 6th or 7th, are they?
They're fifth, aren't they?
Are they 5th?
Yeah.
I know they're up there, and after a really bad start and the slating we give Arteta, which he deserved, by the way, and they're getting results. I don't think they're playing great, but they're getting results.
Bill, do you think Bill, do you think the renaissance is based on good, positive foundations, or is it just luck? Do you think?
A lot of luck.
I think they've had some good fixtures for them. I think they've had a run of what you would possibly call easy games, but everyone's got out games like that. They've had a good run, and they seem to be playing more as a team than what they were. And I think they're a better side now than what they were at the start of the season.
Much better.
Yeah,
And
so they're going to give teams a game at the moment, but they're going to go through another stage, I think, where when you meet your Liverpools and your Man Cities and your Evertons, where they mightn't be as good.
But also Smith Rowe
Did you really just
as
say
well.
Everton? Did that lot?
I think
Jesus
Smith Rowe.
Christ,
I think it's no coincidence that Smith Rowe is playing really well, and the
Great
results
player.
have improved.
And Odegaard has been benched. That is another thing.
Who Deeks?
Martin Odegaard. He
Oh,
has
yeah.
been benched
Yeah,
these
yeah,
past
yeah,
2
yeah.
weeks.
Lacazette's back in the team as well, and he's a much better player than Odegaard. I like him. I like
He suits
Lacazette.
the system much better.
I think he's really good. A massively underrated player myself, Lacazette.
He doesn't like playing the two of them, or he didn't like playing the two of them together at all, did he?
He doesn't. He plays behind now. He plays as the attacking midfielder, Lacazette does.
Yeah, I think he's a good footballer, but he doesn't. When they were twin strikers, they weren't doing well at all. I don't know whether I think they get on, but they weren't playing as a unit, were they? As a two. The both individuals, him dropping back is probably the best thing that could happen for Arsenal.
Yeah, he's got more ability than he was able to show as a striker.
Yeah.
I think he suits the deep lying role.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I agree on Smith Rowe as well. Really like him. I was having an
Yeah,
argument
looks a good kid, and doesn't he?
last season. At the end of the season, I remember there was a discussion on Arsenal. I can't remember which poster didn't like him. It might have been Malaga.
Maybe it is Malaga, yeah.
Yeah, he didn't like him, and we had an argument about because I said I really like him. I don't know why he didn't like him. I still don't see why he doesn't like him. I think he's a great player. I think he's the best player youngsters to me.
Yeah. What's happened to Martinelli?
To that, I'm just gonna say Bukayo Saka.
Oh yeah, good point.
Saka is
I forget
better.
he's a younger. I mean, because he's
What's
in the team as normal, so you forget he's a young'un.
Yeah, he's so mature for his age. Yeah.
Mm.
What's happened to Martinelli? He was on the verge of being a superstar.
Then he got an injury, and now he's just on his road back from injury. And
I think he could be
I
a
think
player.
he's
They've
been
got a
back
nice.
fit. He just hasn't been able to get in the team. I think, if I remember rightly, he was on the bench at the weekend.
Right.
I think he might even have come on for the second half. I think he did. he was subbed on, I think. But mostly his development was derailed by injury. So
Gotcha.
I think it might have been a broken leg or no, whatever. He had a very long-term injury.
Hmm. Yeah, it was a bad injury and it held him. It has really derailed his career so far, but he should come back. He's only a youngster.
I thought Arsenal were lucky at a slice of fortune by Villa not buying him for 35 million. Smith Rowe. Remember they put in a bid and it was close. He was close to going, right?
Yeah, I can't believe
they got lucky
considered
there.
it.
Yeah, what a player.
Mm.
What's the what was that? So it was 1-0 to Watford. Billy, and you were saying that they didn't play that well and they got a good result.
1-0 to Arsenal.
Yeah, they never played great, you know. They never played great, but and they had a couple of chances. One really good chance that they missed. Basically an open goal they missed. Can't think who it was, but they had a couple of good chances at when they were down 1-0 to maybe equalise. Well, definitely to equalise and possibly get a winner, which surprised me. But Arsenal weren't great, you know.
Who missed the?
It might have been Sarr, yeah.
I'm sure I
keeper and it's it wide.
Yeah, a bit like Callum Wilson could have done.
Yeah, very much.
See,
so.
It could have happened.
Yeah. But Arsenal got away with it, but they're getting results, and I suppose that's what the supporters have been after. And they're right up the table now, and you know, we give pelters to Arteta early on in the season, but he seems to have turned it round, and you know, they're going to be looking for a Euro place as well as a few other teams.
Well, they should be anyway. You know what I mean? They should be a European team.
Yeah, you would think so, but the way they started, they never played like that at all. They started the season terribly.
Funny how Wenger came out this week and said he should have retired 10 years before he did. I thought that was quite funny. You hang on 10 years more than you should do.
But I think everybody pretty much knew that, though, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he did. He could have went out on a yeah.
I think he might have been just the last person to realise it. That's why he said it today, the other day.
Yeah.
Bless
what
him.
was so what was the next game, guys?
Billy's won this one, Everton Spurs. Nobody got this. You all thought Everton would get beat.
Yeah, I did, yeah. But to be fair to Everton, they done something that they haven't been doing for the last few games. They battled and they played for the shirt, and Benitez got them firing. You know, Everton are really under strength with the injuries you've got, and the poor squad. And the poor squad, I've got to say.
I've got to say though, Spurs. How many haven't they not had a shot on target for like 35 games or something ridiculous? That's
Yeah,
so,
they're awful. They're
I think it was quite I would say it was a disappointing result for Everton that you didn't get a win, surely.
Yeah. I'm still not too sure that we should have had a penalty, to be honest with you.
Yeah, well.
It's a saying the follow through counts for the sending up for what's her name? Holgate. The keeper followed through on Richarlison, so both of them should have been given for me.
Well, 100% agree with you, but even so, why did the referee stop it and call it back? Why didn't he play on? Everton had possession. Carry on.
Yeah, I know.
When you do stop it, why do you give possession to the team that didn't have the ball? When you stopped it.
Players, yeah.
I mean, what the hell was that? That was the whole sequence happened then was an absolute joke.
It was poor refereeing, really poor refereeing at all. But I'll say this for Everton, they've done all right and they showed a lot of fighting qualities, which hasn't been there for the last few weeks.
But I think they
that's
did really.
Down to Benitez.
Yeah, I've got to say, I was really impressed with Everton managing to get 0. That was a great result for them.
Yeah, it was, yeah. Well, we've done okay, and if we battle like that, we'll be okay. It's when they go into the shells and don't try, which lets the supporters down, and that's all we ask for, because we're not going to do much this season with the injuries and the deck of squad we've got.
I think you're being a bit unfair. Now you've got Calvert-Lewin as a cheerleader.
Yeah, it's in the States.
Yeah. Well, that's what he was wearing, wasn't he? His cheerleader. That's his cheerleader outfit, wasn't it? Bless him. I hear you've rushed out and bought the same thing, Bill.
Yeah, I'm looking at getting something like that, to be honest with you.
Yeah. I reckon you shoot it, mate.
Only in pink. Yeah.
I know, definitely suit you in pink.
Yeah, wouldn't it just?
The funny thing is, Tristan, when he was dressed up as that schoolgirl, you'd have dated him in school.
I don't date anyone. I was ginger. You don't get dates.
Yeah. It'd have been just your type at school.
Well, yeah, it's anything. Like I said, it was
Yeah,
ginger. You didn't have a choice, mate.
Anything with a skirt.
Yeah. Well, I didn't even have to have a skirt. You can't be cheesy.
Not even a pulse, even.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. None of that matters. Anything will do.
I heard you were dating your pencil case when you were about 15.
16, mate. 16.
Oh, yeah. Age of consent, yeah.
Back to the game, boys. What did you think of Spurs? I thought they were very poor out. But I expected a bit of a bounce from them. New manager. I would have expected Harry to do a bit more. He was very deep. And I thought that they come to get a draw, it looked like to me. They never give me what I thought was going to be the bounce, the new manager, and a bit of heart and a bit of spinning. They didn't look to have much at all, and I fear for them not being in the top half.
Bill, guys, he's signed an 18-month contract. That stinks of that it's not exactly inspirational for the fans. That stinks of just no longevity.
I can see that, yeah.
I mean, I understand why he's coming. They're giving him a king's ransom to come in for 18 months and stabilise the club. I get it. But the thing is, it doesn't look. It's not a blueprint for longevity and a long-term kind of plan. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He's done what Mourinho's done. They've given him exactly what they did with Mourinho, a 2-year contract, and you know what happened there. So I don't know. I mean, he'll get them firing. He'll get them up the table, but I don't expect them to be challenging for any honours anytime soon.
You can always extend a contract anyway, so I don't think that's an issue. Because let's face it, nobody's going to want to work with Levy for much longer than a couple of months.
Yeah, and I mean, I just think that he's not going to have the success he had at Inter Milan, at Chelsea, with Spurs. I just don't think it's going to happen.
So you don't think Spurs will win the league under Conte? Oh my God, that's a big call you're making there, Abid. You're putting your reputation on the line there, aren't you?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. See, I'm not sitting on the fence, am I?
Well, you put it out there, mate. I'm impressed. You're brave. That's such a big call to make.
I think this one's going to end in tears.
Oh, sorry, what?
Oh, we just dropped a catch.
I think this one's going to end in tears.
What? Are you talking about the cricket? Because that's what you're talking about on the bloody Discord.
Rob Wade has just been dropped to Falfredi. Super easy chance. He's just been dropped. Sorry.
Shit. The Conte, the Spurs. That's what I was referring to.
Oh yeah, it always does with him.
Yeah.
I just don't see why he took the job. It just seems like a weird. It just seems like a weird appointment, to be honest with you. It doesn't seem right.
Has to be money. Doesn't it? Has to be.
Oh, Australia final. They're going to be in the final. They've just hit a 6. 12 runs from 8 balls. You're in the final, Rob.
Yeah, it's a good feeling.
Don't count your chickens before they hatch. How does really
So yeah, back to the game. Spurs
Oh.
versus Everton.
Yeah.
we're still discussing this game?
Yeah,
Dylan,
we've been waiting for your
we've gotta start
input,
a-
Deeps. It's up to you. That's what we've been waiting on, you and Rob, because
Oh,
you've been busy
I
playing
thought
cricket or something.
I watched only bits and bobs of this game, but I think Everton looked the more likelier to win than Spurs. So
Yeah.
Conte has a job on his hand. If you look the second best team against Everton, then you have a job on your hand. Because even Watford were better than Everton.
That's a good point, that Deeps.
That was a long time ago, Deeps. Don't be making up things like that.
Bill, do you think Rafa's there for the long term? Do you think he's there 4 or 5 years?
I don't know about 4 or 5 years, but certainly 3 years. I think he'll see the 3 years out. I think he wants to be there. It's going to depend on results, and it's going to depend on the players that he can get. And that's up to Marcel Brands by the looks of it. I'm not a big fan of Brands, as you know. But he needs players. You can't do anything without players in this league. They'll survive. Everton will survive. I can guarantee you that. But to start challenging up the top end of the league, you need players and you need a squad, which is something they haven't got at the moment.
I've just realised something. I was thinking of that old gag when Alan Ball signed for Everton, and Shankly says, "Or at least you'll be near a good team now." Do you remember that? Hearing that?
Yeah.
I was just thinking, do you think that's what Ole was referring to when he said we're nearly there? Was he meaning that we're near Man City, as in like location-wise? Do you think he's, heard that gag and he thought, oh, I get this one in here, and just messed it up as badly as like when, what's his name? The president did the speech, the US president, and he did the fool me once thing. No, just say, do you think he just made a bit of a mess of the gag when he was trying to tell it, Ole?
He might have done.
Anyway,
He makes a mess of most things, so it's probably.
That's what I was about
probably
to say.
Yeah, well, that's why I was thinking it. Should we move on to Leeds Leicester anyway? Because I don't think there's much. Everton were the better side. I'm just unlucky not to win, basically. I think is the takeaway from that one. And Conte's got a massive job on his hands. He hasn't got the players, to be fair. It's not really. Until he gets some decent players, they're going nowhere. But yeah, Leeds Leicester, I think, is next. Leeds looking more like themselves.
Oh, good. Just one more thing on the Spurs. Do you think Kane will stay? Because he's having an abject time as a player. So I don't know whether that's an hangover from the summer, the non-Man City transfer, or he's just seriously abject form. But is he going to stay at Spurs? I mean, he's at his age. He's another 6 months, a year older, I suppose. It will be from the Man City kind of saga. I mean, will somebody take a punt on him? I'm not so sure.
I think Abby, the question to be asked is more like, is anybody gonna come back in for him?
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's exactly what I mean. Yeah, do you think somebody will take a punt on him now? I don't think so. He's just too expensive, and he's just too much of a risk with his, his injuries. I wouldn't personally. Do you think?
I can think of one stupid club who have money to burn.
Yeah.
And I don't mean Newcastle United.
I was just
mean
going to
Newcastle
ask.
United.
Did you mean them?
Yeah.
Because
No.
actually, seriously speaking, that's the kind of signing Newcastle need to make.
Oh, it puts them right on the map.
Yeah, exactly. For Newcastle, that'd be a great signing.
They need more than one player. For
No, yeah,
But
but
where
they
would
make
they?
them
Yeah, but they need to make us like they would. I think ideally they
okay.
would want to. They would want to get a new team with 100 million, but you ain't gonna get it.
yeah,
But
you
where
need.
would
You
he?
need.
Why would he go to Newcastle? Because he'll never win anything in the next 2 years or so.
Well, he's not going to
So
win anything at Spurs, though, is he? So what difference does it make? You may as well go there and take the money. I mean, and remember, he gets a percentage of the transfer fee.
yeah, but wouldn't he just stay and be a Spurs legend rather than I don't know, nullify his relationship with the fans?
Do you not think he's had enough for Spurs though under Levy? I think him and Levy are completely just at each other's throat now. I think he's just lost his patience with the way he acted in the summer when he'd been promised he'd be allowed to move.
Yeah. And I think the fans have got on his case as well.
Yeah, oh
He
yeah,
got booed off the other
yeah.
week, and so
Didn't he get booed
as
off
his-
against
as-
Everton as well?
I don't know, Tris. I never seen the end of the game there, but he got booed off the week before last. And is a player going to be happy to see out his days? Whether he's not going to be the legend that Abid's saying, finish off as a legend. I think he wants out, and I think he's got to go. Myself personally, if I was Harry Kane, I'd want to go. No, I think his time's done at Tottenham.
And
Wow.
I'm just gonna reiterate: don't rule out Manchester United.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, but you've got
We-
Ronaldo. You've got Ronaldo for the long term, mate. You don't need him. You don't need him. You've brought in your long term striker.
You've
Yeah,
already
but
got a
we-
prima donna that doesn't track back. Why do you need another one for?
Oh, but we need someone
Not
for
track
Tottenham
back.
and the big to play tiki taka with on the bench. We need a bench warmer.
Oh yeah, him and Van der Beek could be brilliant together. I mean, the halftime entertainment. I mean, that's legendary entertainment. That is, isn't it? Oh, they could give a whole speech on how well they warmed up at halftime, couldn't he? Then,
Yeah, Kane to replace Cavani.
yeah. Oh, brilliant idea, Deeps. You've hit the nail on the head there. Imagine
Oh,
another.
la-
Over stuff, boys. We're on the Leicester game, I think.
Yeah, move on to Leeds Leicester. 1-1. Deep's got Deeps and Abid both got the right result.
2 points.
I didn't watch the game.
I watched Leeds
Rob,
were
did you
much
watch
more
it,
like
Deep?
themselves.
Leeds were more like themselves. Or
Yeah,
Leicester.
they were much more like they were last season. You know what I mean? They were up for it. The energy levels were better. They were chasing and harrying and putting Leicester in trouble. Whereas Leicester, yeah, they're still not right.
And the main man scored for them again, didn't he?
Oh,
He's becoming a bit of a player who's going to go.
best player on the
Someone
pitch
big.
by far, weren't he?
Well, what a player.
Yeah.
Rafinha, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rafinha, yeah.
Oh, he's
He is
giving
some
me
player.
he's giving me the vibes that Mane gave when he was at Southampton.
I think
Impacting games week in, week out.
I
I'm
think
not
he
saying
might even
they're
be
the
better.
same level. Yeah, I'm not saying they're the same
he was
level.
for
or
Southampton,
anything.
I mean.
Yeah, but I'm not saying who was better, who was worse. I'm just saying like they're starting the boss almost every game they won.
Yeah, they
Okay,
definitely
Yeah.
they stand out each week. Yeah, I agree, definitely. But
But he
Mane, the
looks some
problem with
player, doesn't
Mane
he?
was he would turn up for the TV games and not play so well in the other games when he was at Southampton. 'Cause that's why the fans weren't so keen on him and why they were they weren't as bothered when he left. If you see what I mean? 'Cause they
Yeah,
felt he was-
and he would also sulk for not getting his dream move to a certain
Manchester
club.
United. I bet he, when he looks back on that, he thinks, "Thank fuck for that." he must think, "Oh God, how lucky was I every single night."
Maybe he would have kept LVG in the job. You never know.
No, I don't think anyone could have kept him in the job because he just doesn't. He didn't have the personality. The fans didn't like him at all because of the way he just had no personality on the sidelines, did he? If he'd have done more things, like that falling over when he was doing the impression at the time, if he'd have done more of that, he'd have been there still. Because at that point, the fans took to him, and but he wouldn't do it again, would he? He just sat silent on the bench. That was one of the best moments in football of all time. Why didn't he do
So
more
in
of
order
it?
for the fans to take to you, you've got to do some kind of simulation on the sideline. So
No,
why don't
what I mean
Ole
is he
do that?
showed personality. He actually
Well,
got off
maybe
his...
Ole should
Abby,
do
The
that.
rest of... Yeah,
Something
exactly.
that's to
Ole
him.
doesn't either. He just sits there. And that's the
watching
problem.
his monitor,
Yeah. They need to
watching
get
Netflix
involved.
on the side.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Because he's certainly not watching the same game anyone else is if he thinks they're nearly there.
He's probably watching the European
We're
Cup
going off
final
into
against
tangents
Barcelona.
again, boys.
Yeah, we've got...
Well,
sorry.
going off into
Leeds
tangents
Leicester.
again.
Leeds
Come on.
Leicester. Come on, we've got to stick to Leeds Leicester. We've got a little tiny bit sidetracked there, I think.
I think
Rob,
so,
say
yeah.
something. You haven't said anything for half an hour. Where are you, bro?
He's too busy.
When you mentioned-
He's too busy cleaning up the mess.
Australia getting to the final, yeah.
No, I was thinking of just
Yes,
talking to you, Abid.
Oh,
Say
he's
something,
only human,
Abby,
Tristan. What can he
for
say?
you.
Yeah.
The only thing that popped in my head when you mentioned Van Gaal was obviously the dive on the sideline, and that time when Fellaini got his hair pulled in the match, and he after the game he compared it to sexual masochism.
Yeah.
What?
He's
Sorry,
a
say that without
No.
deep shouting over here.
Fellaini got his hair pulled in a game, and then he cracked the shits in the interview afterwards, and he compared the hair pulling to sexual masochism.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah. See, he's got a personality, LVG, but he just didn't. He refused to show it because he thought that was the wrong way to act. He just doesn't understand English football. That was his problem.
I met
screaming.
LVG and his wife on the tube once in central London, and I was trying to pretend not to let them know that I knew who they were, and they were trying to pretend they weren't trying to let me know who they were. It was so awkward. It was the funniest thing ever.
Yeah, like they
You're not
noticed
allowed
you.
to talk on the tube, though, are you? Because I remember when you start a conversation on there, people just start panicking. Londoners are weird.
Like you've been out of the house to get on a
Yeah, I've
tube.
been on the
Yeah.
I used to take Georgia to London all the time, mate. I lived
And
in
by the way-
Windsor, remember?
By the
Oh,
way,
that's
Abby.
right, yeah.
By the way, Abby,
Oh.
Tris is right now. Tris is on YouTube.
Ooh, still don't get out of the house.
That's close enough.
But he is getting on
Right.
YouTube.
What's that,
That-
mate?
I think we finished with Leicester now, and I think we need to move on to the
Well
game.
done, Bill.
Oh,
Thank you.
yeah,
What's
cheers,
next?
Bill. Yeah, cheers, Bill. Thanks for that. West Ham, Liverpool.
Oh no.
It's
I'll
Rob.
turn it over to Rob. Rob's got a script ready and
Over to
everything.
Rob.
Oh my god! I thought
He
we'd
scripts
got
it now.
Come
He
on,
scripts
Rob.
it now,
Got that
Abid.
already.
You'll be fine. We don't need to say anything. Just leave it to him.
Oh, go
So
for it, Rob.
I've been waiting for this.
all of us can take 5 minutes break and leave the floor for Rob.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
my
We can go. For,
God.
you can go
I
for
was
a
gonna
ciggy
say,
and
I'll-
everything.
Take it away, Rob.
I've wrote a bit on
Go
this
on,
one, so I'm
Rob.
sorry if I train it. So West Ham versus Liverpool. This is one of those games where the whole week leading up, I was a bit worried. I was actually more than a bit worried. I was kind of fearing playing West Ham at this stage. They've been flying, doing above what I thought they'd be doing, and I thought our form since the thumpings of Watford and Manchester United has been a little off. From the minute off, they were putting us under pressure. The early corner, which could have easily been avoided, ended in a West Ham goal, given as an own goal by Alisson. This is a major talking point. At first glance, I was screaming at the TV for a foul. Then seeing the quick replay, I shut my mouth kind of quick. But then the more I kept going back to watch it afterwards, the more I thought it looked like a foul. I was under the impression that any sort of contact on the keeper as he goes up for the ball, ends in a foul, and that's what I thought I saw when Ogbonna launched himself backwards into Alisson. But here's the thing. I'd expect someone of Alisson's quality to do a bit better with that. I feel as if he was distracted, which wasn't helped by any of the Liverpool defenders coming in to clear up the crowding. I think if it was us who scored a goal like this against an opponent and it got chalked off for a foul on a keeper, I'd accept it and say fair enough, as it works both ways. I don't know. I just think it's one of those ones where you just have to cop it on the chin and move forward. Mistakes can happen. But that's something we did far too often in this game, especially from corners and crosses that were clearly targeting that area. We let it happen over and over, and that was a very frustrating part. I was confident enough that we'd push forward and hit one back, and then I was even more confident by the fact when I saw Cresswell going flying in at Jordan Henderson, which is a clear as day red card. I don't even know how it wasn't given, or I don't remember off memory if he actually even gave a card at the time.
He didn't give a foul.
Yeah, well, there you go. Even worse. I don't want to say a whole bunch of what ifs and maybes, but that's a red card challenge, and it's in such a time where Liverpool could have had the chance to be a man up with 80 odd minutes to go. The referee had a stinker. They looked happy to sit back and defend a 1-0 lead, only moving forward to catch us on the break. But that ended when a free kick outside the box, which I didn't even think was a free kick outside the box, was excellently placed by Alexander-Arnold to bring the game back to 1-1. What a hit. I stood up in my chair and beat my chest when I saw that go in. So that one got me pumped. Half-time was upon us and I was still not feeling great. Started having those thoughts in my head. Maybe a draw might be not a bad result, but then again, I didn't want to be Roy Hodgson. Who am I kidding? You know, we need 3 points here. We are in a title race. Second half, we were extremely poor. West Ham were just happy to sit back and catch us with the ball over the top or hit us on the counter. Every time we moved the ball forward, we couldn't get much to happen. Declan Rice almost had their second early in the second half as they looked dangerous again from a dead ball, a big let off. Then Mane had a good chance with a volley from a Robertson cross, which he blasted right at Fabianski. By midway through the 60th minute, West Ham broke mid through the 60th minute, 65th or 66th off memory. West Ham broke through and it just looked inevitable. Bowen played through at Fornells, who slots it past Ellison for the second. Jota was doing his best to get on the score sheet, but it wasn't happening. West Ham looked like they were cruising, and cruising they were when Kurt Zouma made it 3-1 from another corner. The defenders did nothing to fix the earlier mistakes, and West Ham made us pay. It was at this point I knew we were probably done in the game, if it wasn't for Origi's goal, which was well taken. The hammers were let off as Mane missed a diving header, which I thought was certainty to go in. It just wasn't our day, and an amazing unbeaten run had come to an end. West Ham thoroughly deserved to win the game, and hats off to them. Maybe this is the kick up the arse that Liverpool needed to lift the way that we've been playing lately. I'm very disappointed to how we played and didn't adapt to the way West Ham were trying to put us under pressure. A stinker at the office for Klopp and co. Just hopefully we bounce back with a win against Arsenal after the international break.
So who went to the toilet in the middle of that? Because they could have turned their mic off.
I'm not owning up to anything.
And I'm playing chess.
Oh, sorry. I had to let my frustrations out this week.
But is it just me? Is it just me, or are Rob's reviews starting to sound more and more like screenplay to a movie?
he's certainly writing the script. He's getting into it now.
Oh, I'm enjoying it, but
Rob, can I ask you a question? As a goalkeeper, you've been a goalkeeper, obviously.
Yep.
Do you think Alisson falls for at least 2, possibly the 3 goals?
All of them,
yeah.
And and I know you were saying about it possibly being a foul for the first one.
Yep.
I didn't think it was a foul personally.
Yep.
I thought Liverpool's defenders, someone's got to get in between the centre forward and the keeper to push him out the way, so as the keeper's got a bit of room, and he's never done that with Liverpool.
Yep.
And that's what he should have done for me.
Spot on. The only thing I don't want to sound like a whining and moaning person just because we lost the game or my favourite player bloody made a mistake or so, but but like I don't know. When I went back after the game and I really watched that first thing back, the more I watched it, the more I got convinced that there was contact from when he jumped backwards into him with his arms up. But you're spot on with what you're saying in terms of you'd expect someone in there they were doing it the whole game. And the one thing that pissed me off the most was we didn't combat it. We didn't do anything to stop it from happening. All right, it happened once. It happened in the third minute. You'd think then from moving on, hang on, they're targeting this. They see a weakness here, but we didn't do anything to fix it. And they just kept going. And look what happened. It got them the win. So hats off to them. There's no, I'm not mad at West Ham or, against West Ham. You've got to do what you've got to do. And to beat a team like us on a run that we've had, you've got to do it. I understand that. But I'm very disappointed in Liverpool for not actually picking up and adapting to the way what they were trying to do. And, I don't know, man. Like I said, if that was at the other end in the third minute and that got chalked off and something similar happened to us, just say it was Van Dijk or Martip or someone that jumped backwards and had his arm up and they did chalk the goal off, I wouldn't have been angry. I would have been like, oh, fair enough. But, it's a bit, I know it is a little bit different when it's your team that does cop it, but I do think that one was a really 50-50 one for me.
Yeah.
But their second goal, Rob, right? For Alisson, the keeper he is, we all know how good he is, probably the best in the world. For that ball to go through him, like it did, it wasn't the hardest shot. It was decently placed, but he got his body to it. He got his arms.
It went underneath him.
Almost over his head, and it went underneath him. And that's not Alisson. That's not Alisson for me. That was poor by Alisson.
Bill,
I don't know if it was
guys,
That is Pickford for you.
I don't know.
Let's just listen. Like you said, Bill, the guy's undisputedly the best in the world. He's had a bad day. He's had a bad day at the office. He's
Not
it's not a,
Sorry. Not undisputedly, but he is probably the best.
Yeah. Okay, I'll give you that. But this is just a bad day at the office. This isn't the steady decline of Alisson Becker. This is just he's had a really bad game, and next week he'll be better, and he'll be back to his usual self. It's just that unlucky for us. It's unfortunate. Oh, by the way, thanks, Rob. That was great, mate. I appreciate it.
Well, I'm glad I didn't put someone to sleep, so that's good.
No, not at all. That was great, mate. It was good, a great summary. But yeah, he's just had a bad. Listen, luckily, he's made 3 mistakes in the game, and hopefully, he doesn't make 3 mistakes in the game ever. So let's just put it down to bad luck, and he's back again. For me,
it's not just Alisson there,
Oh yeah,
it's not just us. It's the defenders as well. He got the protection from Matip or Van Dijk.
Yeah,
He should have been between.
No, you put a midfielder in there. That's what you do.
Yeah, but what was Trent playing in midfield for? I don't get it.
That was driving me mad because
what was that about?
It was ridiculous.
Something ain't fit. I mean, overanalyze.
You should have heard me shouting at the TV. I was not enjoying it.
Over-intellectualising the situation. Number 2, I mean, the other thing we didn't. Rob, I'm not sure, but I don't think you picked up on Mane missed 2 sitters, right?
Yeah,
that would have changed. Yeah. That would have changed the complexion of the game. Well, at least certainly would have got a draw. And I know this is going to be really controversial. I know no one's going to agree to this, but I think that red card was 50-50. It could have gone either way. I could see why they didn't give that as a yellow.
It's a definite red card by the rules. No, by the laws of the game, that's an all day long. That's a red card.
It's a red card, I must admit.
Has to be a red card. Even if
he wasn't in control. He wasn't in control at all.
It's not. It's one of those where it can end a career. It can end a career. Those kind of tackles. That's why they're automatic red cards. If you're off your feet and out of control, it's an automatic red card. The referee shouldn't have an option. That's the point. The referee shouldn't have had an option. The VAR should have called it back and said that's got to be a red card. I don't understand why it wasn't.
But Tristan, we shouldn't be relying.
That isn't the difference. The difference was
we shouldn't be relying on red card calls to win a game.
Where was he? Every single time they attacked, you watch, he's gone in. He's in midfield. What the hell is he doing? When is he going to learn? When the attackers have got pace and they're playing the ball over the top, when is he going to learn to start dropping off? Because that is the problem. Every single time he plays.
Yeah, exactly.
Every single time, ball over the top catches him out every time because he's wandering into midfield. He's not learning. I don't understand why he was brought back for this game.
What's Gomez got to get a game?
Wait, Gomez
What's
was
Gomez
injured.
That's
got
what
to
I
do
was
to
thinking.
get a game?
Gomez was injured. He couldn't play.
Oh, was he
When
on
he
the
Picked
gets
up,
better
to
side?
yeah, he
full-
picked up
full
a
speed.
he picked up a knock or illness. I can't remember which now. It was a while. He was
When-
either injured or sick for the game.
When
I'm
he
pretty sure
when he-
he's on the
when he-
bench.
Certainly wasn't fit enough to start. That was the
Okay,
he'd been
gotcha,
missing for a couple of
gotcha.
games. That's why he was out.
Gotcha,
When he-
gotcha,
Couple of
gotcha,
the
gotcha.
question is for me, when he gets back to full fitness, where does he sit in that centre back order in
He's-
terms of?
For
You know,
Klopp, he's fourth. For me, he should be alongside Van Dijk every time. He's the
For
best
sure.
partner.
That's what I
In
was
my
thinking.
opinion, he's the best partner for Van Dijk by far. It's not even close. Canate has got no understanding with him, and he plays like he's playing in a back three. Matip has no idea how to deal with balls over the top, and that is 99% of the attacks we're facing now because of it. Because they just put the ball over the top into his corner because Trent's always going to be forward, and Matip's got no idea how to deal with it. So that's our main thing.
Yeah, but that's a
the main
simple.
problem.
That's a
Fits,
very
yeah.
simple modification. He just drops
should
back.
be.
Surely,
Yeah, but he hasn't done it yet. He should be doing it. I mean, it shouldn't take a manager to pick out the problem like that.
but he wasn't
A
doing it
defender
last
should
season or the
see-
season
He
before.
was, though. This is something that's I've always said this every time. He's always struggled against balls over the top. It's always been a worry. Up till now, what's happened is Van Dijk or Fabinho have managed to get back and
Covered.
rescue it, or whoever's been playing alongside him, obviously.
Matip has been a daydreamer
I
since
thought-
his Schalke days.
No,
I thought Liverpool's
South
midfield was poor, you know. I don't
Sorry,
know about you,
Dave?
but I thought Liverpool's midfield was poor. I thought Fabinho had probably his worst game I've seen for a long time. And I thought Declan Rice played really
Oh, he's
well
a
for
brilliant
West Ham.
of course.
I think he's
Oh,
an
yeah,
excellent
brilliant.
excellent player.
Yeah, he's
But
stepped
I
up.
didn't think Liverpool's midfield were at the races against West Ham.
Billy, you've got-
Personally.
There's
Why not
mitigation. There's
Henderson in
mitigation.
there?
The two, yeah, but there's mitigation with the
Alongside.
midfield because Thiago
No,
and
it's no
Fabinho have
excuse.
not been back long.
There's no excuse. What should have happened there, quite simply, is for starters, Trent should have been playing wide so he could have trapped back better. Because it's more difficult coming from outside. You know, he's inside. He's having to run across as well as get back at the same time. So he's having to
Yeah,
cover
it's easier
more
to
ground
run in
to
a
get
straight
back.
line back.
So if he's just running straight back, he's got much better chance of covering. For starters, that's number one. And if Henderson's in the middle instead, and he's playing deeper, that's all they needed to do was say, we'll play with a 2 at the pivot rather than just Fabinho. And then he can get across and cover. And then Matip doesn't need to go and press out in midfield. He can drop off. Or Henderson can drop in and fill the space, or Fabinho. One of them, whichever one plays on that side. Probably Henderson, as he's the right, he tends to play on the right side.
on the right
So
side of midfield.
he drops in to fill the space if Matip does go forward. That's all you
But
need
they
to
all
do.
having
It's a
brain
simple
spots.
modification, and I can't understand how none of the players could figure this out for themselves, even if the coaching staff couldn't. And that worries me that none of the coaching staff figured it out either.
Yeah, but listen, we can't go from this. This is the fickleness of our fans. We can't go from world beaters one week and then whipping boys the next. This is still the same squad that is. You just can't lose faith. I mean, the people on the site really, really piss me off when they just it's you go from one high to the low one week
Oh,
from
yeah.
the next. I mean, and these things are going to happen. I mean, you're not going to be world class every single week. There's going to be reasons, there's anomalies, there's variables, injuries, loss of form, tactical changes, etc. How many times you play 3 games in a week or whatever. There's never going to be. You can't keep up that consistency. Yes, we're 4 points behind. Yes, by rights we should have been 6 points ahead simply because the draw against Brentford. We should have beaten City and Chelsea with 10 men. But no, we find ourselves 4 points behind. But there's still a third of the 2/3 of the season left.
Yeah,
There might be some reinforcements in January. There's lots to look forward to. We're looking very strong in the Champions League. And all of a sudden, it's doom and frigging gloom.
I know, we
Yeah, I
won
see
our
that.
group in the Champions League. I mean, it's early days.
The
There's a long
group
way
of
to go.
death.
Yeah.
What's his name? Harvey might be back in January. So there's so much to play for. It's only 4 points. We beat Chelsea and City at their ground. We're 2 points ahead. It's just it's just really the kind of the kind of not the precociousness, but the fickleness of the fans is just so disappointing.
It's the
It's this
immaturity.
so
Fans like that.
It's immaturity. The modern fan is just so immature. Everything is all about what happened today. Not, they've got no long-term view. They just look at every game in isolation. The likes of Paisley and Shankly couldn't have survived in this era. They couldn't have managed.
Not at all. Not
Ferguson would never have had a chance to go anywhere.
Exactly. He's been sacked after the first 5 games.
Yeah, exactly.
Guys, I think we need to. I think we need to speak about Bobby and I know Billy Love wants to, but Bobby and Mane. I think that's if you're looking at deterioration, I think we're not steadily, but I think we're slowly seeing it. I'm not sure those
Bobby
two
didn't
stay
play.
around.
Bobby wasn't it? He was injured.
No, I'm talking about Mane.
Oh.
I think that, and it's Bobby is not who he used to
Mane
be.
Was okay.
No, I don't think so.
Brilliant against Atletico Madrid till they just literally hacked him out of the game. I don't see how you can say he's deteriorated.
I don't. Yeah, but he was. His
he
consistency.
missed 2 sitters. Come on, that's hardly a.
No.
Not in position to score them.
Last season and this season, he's not been as prolific as he was. I'm not talking about just goal scoring. I'm talking about general play. I think he's. Yeah.
Let me ask you this question before you finish your thought. Who is the best left-sided attacker / left winger in the league right now?
Good question. I don't know. You tell me. Who do you think?
Sadio Mane still.
Exactly.
Well,
because the other candidates, you don't have any other standout candidates. Rashford just back from injury.
Jota is the only other one.
Yeah, but the thing is, there's a steady decline, and the thing is, I just don't want it to go.
He had one bad. He had a bad few months. That's it.
I think it's a little. I think the case is a little bit like. Sorry, Abid. Sorry.
No problem. Please, Deeps.
I think the case has been that people are judging Mane on his peak season when you won Champions League, but nobody plays to their peak every season. Not even the likes of Messi and Ronaldo did it. They peaks and then they had very good seasons. I think it's fair to say that Mane hasn't been up to the level, but if he was up to the level, then he would be the best player in the world. So,
argument with Salah anyway.
Can I just bring up a point that I've made before about Mane? And it's not an excuse, but since he had COVID, he has not been the same player, right? And they talk about long COVID, right? And Gibson for us. What's his name? Bloody hell, I can't think of his bloody name now.
Godfrey.
Ben Godfrey, sorry. Ben Godfrey.
Yeah.
I reckon he's brilliant last season. Really good. And since he got COVID, he's been exactly the same. He's lost form, he's lost the sharpness, and I think that is possibly a case for Mane as well. He hasn't, whether long COVID is the cause of it, he hasn't been as good as what he was.
Right.
I wouldn't rule that out as an excuse.
I hear what you're saying, but in my opinion, as an avid Bobby and Mane fan, I mean, on the I'm jingoistic about these two, but the thing is, in my opinion, for the club, I think we're better off. Mane's already. I think they're both 30. I think Mane's coming into his 30s. Bobby's already 30. I think while we can, I think we can get money. We should get money for them now, and put that towards a transfer kitty. Maybe swap Mane for Rafinha or whoever it is, right?
What?
And Bobby for. Go on. Let me finish. I think for the club, the
Rafinha
benefit
plays
for
on
the
right.
For the intro, he plays both. He plays both wings.
No, he plays on the right.
No, he switches. I've seen him play on the left for Leeds.
He plays on the right for Leeds.
Oh, Abid. Rafinha plays on the left for Leeds, just like Rashford plays on the right for Manchester United.
Right.
Only as a makeshift and not as well.
Yeah, no, but what I'm saying, I'm just plucking a name. I mean, anybody on the left-hand side then. But what I'm saying is,
That's the
There
thing.
must be in world football. There's nobody in world football that
There's
plays
no
left
good left.
midfield.
Jota's the only one.
No,
and
but
why do we need to sell Mane to play Jota? Then we can just rotate them.
and
Yeah,
even then, you're gonna judge him against the standard of the best
Yeah.
season Mane had, and that's a very impossible standard for any new player to be judged against. But
In the
having said
interest
that,
of fun, but
having
the thing
said
is,
that,
yeah,
I do agree with the point that I guess you're about to make, in that maybe it's time Liverpool refresh their attack, because all the players are getting on a little bit. I'm not saying they're past it. I'm just
absolutely,
saying
absolutely, and this is
they're starting to age out all at the same time.
yes.
Yeah,
I just
that's
think
why Jota's been brought in, and that's why you've got Minamino, who can develop to take over the Firmino role. You've got Harvey Elliott, who can play that role. Curtis Jones, who can play that role. I think you need to give them another season just to develop the kids in there, rather than looking to get rid of them.
I'm looking at it from a economist point of view. This is the time where we can get decent money for them, and
it's a sport.
What's that, mate?
The idea is to win matches, though. So you keep them until they start, until they're at the point where there's somebody better to bring in. Then you replace them and get rid of them.
We sell to buy. We sell to buy, and I think those two are disposable at the moment. I think Mane and Bobby, we can afford to lose. Get money in and get new players in, and this doesn't discount from the fact I love them both. I think they're both wonderful. They've been wonderful servants to the club. They're both in a little bit of decline, more so Bobby than Sadio. I think we get rid and we go again and we rebuild. We keep Salah because we're going to give him that stupid contract, right? That's going to cost us a lot of money to offset. I think we need to sell.
Not a stupid contract. How can you say it's a stupid contract when he's the best player in the world? He should get the highest money.
No, but no. I mean, we don't give out contracts like that. We're going to have to give him a world record contract to keep him. So you know how
it's not
FSG...
a world record. It won't even be half of what Messi was earning before.
Well, sorry, a record for us anyway. He'll be the top. He'll be the highest paid player in our history,
that's
no doubt.
Anyway, that would have happened anyway, because you have to keep going up because inflation goes up. So
exactly, but you know how FSG run the club. They balance the books somehow, so there will be departures to offset the contract for sure.
The players you get rid of are players like Keita and players like that aren't good enough to get in the team. Rather than get rid of players like Mane.
I mean,
but that's not the point. It's a competitive sport, and you get rid of the players that aren't good enough to get in your team, not the ones that are good enough to still make your team. And you haven't got anybody.
With Mane and Bobby, you'll get money. With Keita, you'll get nothing. With Barriga, you'll get nothing. Who's going to pay? Who are you going to get? We're going to get 30, 40 million for Keita?
Well, I don't think so. Doesn't want to go anyway. That's the
problem. So exactly. So who are we going to sell? There's not many to sell. We haven't got that many jewels to sell. So while Mane and Bobby we can get some kind of. I just don't think that. Well, what would you do when you wait to this front three to be 32, 33?
No, you wait another season for Jota to bed in properly to take over from Mane. You wait and you get and you develop someone to take over the role from Bobby full time.
Yeah, I just don't think that.
Nobody
I don't
to
think that
replace Bobby Firmino.
Well, Jota's not exactly turning. I mean, Jota's blows hot and cold, so he can't.
When he plays on the left, he's been better. It's when he plays.
No, he hasn't. The last couple of games, he's been awful. He hasn't been better. I mean, he's good on the. He's better on the left than he's on the centre.
Yeah, he's been playing in the centre the last couple of games, so I don't see.
Yeah, but he's no Sadio. I mean, he's no primo Sadio Mane on the left.
Well, yeah, exactly, but nobody is. So why do you want to sell him? Who are we going to bring in to replace him?
Primo Sadio Mane. Sadio Mane is not primo at the moment. Sadio Mane is in decline.
He's still better than the options. He's better. You've just said it yourself. He's better than Jota plays. So what are you going to do? You're going to have to go and buy someone, and who's there to buy?
I would buy a forward that can play across the front three for sure, 100%. And I would sacrifice Mane for that. That's just me. I think you can get money for Mane now, right? And I think we take it and we replace him with somebody young who can play across the front three and who can adapt into that role and give and move Bobby as well. This is me personally. Maybe give Elliott that role, Bobby's role. I don't know, but
Yeah,
I
because
would
it's not like
certainly.
Elliot was playing well in midfield or anything. So yeah, you wouldn't want to keep
No,
him
but he
there,
can
would you?
adapt. No, but he can adapt to a role. I think he could do that job very well. Bobby's role.
But he was our best midfielder this season, so you now want to move him out of where he was the best in the, where he was having a
Who's to
great
say he's going
season.
to come back? Who's to say he's going to come back the same way he did? You don't know that.
Well,
He
if
could.
he's not going to be playing well, then he's not going to do. He's not going to be any better in playing further forward. That's not the right thing to do, is it?
How do you know? How do you know he's
God.
not going to play better in Bobby's position than he was in the midfield? You don't know that. That's just supposition.
Well, what's to say? But it's a lot less superstition than changing his position altogether to a position he doesn't play. Hasn't played.
He could easily
That's
adapt
just
to.
pure guesswork.
And it's your guesswork that he's going to come back as good as he did when he played in the midfield. So this is my opinion.
What?
I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm saying
it's a lot less
we get rid
superstition
of.
than the stupidity of saying put him in a totally different spot because he might not be as good as he was before.
So you don't think he's going to be as he's not going to be he couldn't play in the false nine? You saying you can't do that?
No, that's not what I'm saying. Never mind. I give up.
What? No.
Point.
Don't
There's no
patronise
point.
me. What are you saying?
No, because you're not listening.
Me. What are you saying?
I'm not
What are you saying?
patronising you. I've said it a number of times. He's
Say it
played
again, 'cause
really well in
obviously
a
I'm dumb.
position.
Say it
It's
again.
just like saying that it's just like this thing about Trent moving Trent. Now he's playing so well at right back. You do not move him. You keep him where he plays well. You do not put a player in and a brilliant best player in the pitch for your team in midfield, and then you say, "Well, I'll tell you what, let's just move him somewhere else."
Okay, then you keep. Okay, I hear your point.
So
then
you
you
move
keep him
somebody
where he
else
is, and you replace Bobby. I'm for
who will?
replacing Bobby and Mane. That's my opinion. I may be right.
I
I may
get
be
that,
wrong.
but we've got to find somebody to replace them, and
there's a whole world of footballers out there. I mean, this is what the
but they're not going to come cheap. That's the point.
What's that?
They're not going to come cheap, and you're saying if they're not going to sell these players. Bobby's been struggling with injuries.
How do you know they're not going to come cheap?
They're not.
You can unearth a diamond that's not expensive. We did it with Salah. We did it with. Excuse me.
Yeah, but you're saying we need to sell to buy, right? We're not going to get much money for Mane while he's playing. If you're saying he's not playing well, what kind of money
I just think we
to
get
when
money
he's in
for
his
him now.
30s?
I just think that while his stock's fairly high, I think we get rid. That's all I'm saying. I think we'll get less. I think he's going to get steadily worse.
Well, of course he's going to get less because he's older.
Yeah, but I don't think he's going to be. He's not all of a sudden, in my opinion, and I could be wrong. Next season, going to have a wonder season and be back to his best. I think he's getting worse. That's all I'm saying. I think we should sell now. Love the guy, but I just don't feel that. I feel his time at Liverpool is done. This is my opinion, it's controversial.
But you get rid of him when you've got somebody in there to replace him, and at the moment, Jota's not ready to replace him.
And this is why I think in the summer that we will replace him and we will get rid of Mane. This is my opinion.
I'd say that the key thing is, and I agree with you on the Firmino one, because he's picking up far too many injuries. Yeah. It's definitely getting worse. You know what I mean? His injury problems. Yeah. He needs to be replaced in the summer. Without a doubt, someone like Isaac or whatever. But you can't, if you replace the half of it, 2/3 of the front three, that's going to have to, get used to each other all over again, and that you need to do it gradually. It should be one each year, really.
I hear that in an ideal world, but the thing is, I feel that Mane is not playing so well, and he's going to get worse, and it's going to be detriment to our team. So why not? I mean, it'll be the same difference by replacing him, getting somebody new in, and getting 2 new players in, getting used to the system. This is my opinion.
They still work together well, and so he was brilliant against Atletico. So
yes, but he has one brilliant game, and he has 2, 3, 4 not average, below average games. This is what I'm saying. The standard isn't as its standard isn't harsh. I don't know, man. I don't know.
I think you're being harsh. I think you're judging him harshly. I don't think he's as bad as you're making out.
Rob, where do you stand on Mane?
I'm not at that point where Abbott's at yet with getting rid of him. The Bobby one I can start to see a lot more clearer, especially this season with his injuries he's picking up. I've kind of got to side with Tris when it comes to if there's no one else that's out there that's better than him in that position at the moment. That's that can come in and play better than what he does. I couldn't get rid of him right now. I do see where you're coming from in terms of performances have dipped compared to what he's done before, but we're going off seasons where he was undoubtedly one of the best players in the world. So I don't know if I could say to get rid of Mane by the end of this season, for example. The Bobby one I can definitely see because, you know, the injuries are coming and things like that. He's approaching 31, 32, things like that. So it's a real harsh topic. It's a real hard topic to sort of talk about because we've been so lucky to have three players up the front that have been, you know, absolute legends for us, and you know, the thought of that eventually coming to an end with, you know, in the next couple of seasons or so, it's kind of, you know, tough to think about, but you know, the truth of the matter is we're going to have to eventually, but I still say to keep Mane around for now.
Yeah, that's how I see it. I know we have to, but I just think there's another season yet before the decision has to be made because there's just nobody out there to replace him.
We've got to think that Liverpool comes first before sentiment.
Yeah, exactly, and that's
opinion.
my point. That's my point. You're thinking of money. I'm thinking of you stay competitive as long as possible first. Then you worry about them. You know, it's about winning trophies, not winning. You know, not making money.
And I think exactly the same as you, but in the opposite sense, because it's about winning trophies. And I think Mane's output isn't good enough for us, and I think he needs to be replaced. So it's exactly the same thought process, but just a different perspective, different way of looking at it.
I always said myself, you don't sell your best players.
Yeah, that's it, Phil.
But he's not the best player. Do you know what I mean? He's not.
He's still one of the top left-sided midfielders, forwards in Europe, all the world, whatever.
Yeah, but so 1 in 4 games, that's not good enough for me.
Replace him when he goes downhill. Forget about the money side of football. Right? I know you can't trust this. But forget about you don't sell your best players. When he's not doing the business for an extended period, which I'd say Bobby is a candidate for that. But you don't sell your best players. It's as simple as that. Forget the money side. Find the money from somewhere else. Sell other players. Sell your fringe players. But you don't get rid of your best players.
Billy, you can't forget about Billy. With all due respect, you can't forget about the money. We have an ownership system that sells to buy. They don't take anything out of the club, but they don't put anything in. So it's a bit of a mute argument. The argument you make is redundant. You have to do this because
you sell the players, though.
But who we get? Who's the? That's the point I'm making. What players are there that are going to? What's Matip going to get? I mean, he's 30-something. He's injury prone. Keita's injury prone.
You still sell the ones like that to get rid. You know, they're the ones that you get rid of.
Name me. All right, mate. Let me a list of players that you think that we should get rid of.
Keita, definitely number 1.
Okay, I agree. What are you going to get for him? 10, 15?
It doesn't matter. You're adding it to the pot. You've still got a club that makes money with the fans back in the side. So you don't actually need to make money to sell. You know, you don't need to sell to buy as such, like you're making out. The clubs never, you know, you say that like it's what Liverpool do, but they spent a lot more than the Coutinho money that everyone reckons we spent to buy Alisson.
Yes, but also we've renewed contracts. We're going to be.
Yeah,
this Salah contract is going to be.
The club will be making more money this year than they have been in previous years. Fans are back in the ground.
Give me finish the list of players to sell.
Massively gone up. Anyway,
finish the list of players. That you want to sell.
I'm going to have to call up the squad listed because I can't remember them all off the top of my head.
Is this that you want to sell or what you think would sell?
Okay, I will
what
list
you
up
get
the
rid
players.
of first.
I will list up the players.
Endo, you're never going to sell. He's just signed a new contract. Milner is a free. Nobody's going to pay money for him, right?
No, we're not. I'm not. I wouldn't sell him anyway. What's the point? You sell players like Karius. You've got Kelleher. Much as I love him and I think he's going to be a brilliant keeper, he's not going to replace Alisson anytime soon. And for his sake,
how much are you going to get for Karius, mate? You're not. Well, this is Origi. You're not going to get much money. You're still saving on
the wages, and you're still getting. Even if it's a few pence, it still helps because you're saving on wages. You get a decent fee on Kelleher.
Yeah.
You
Nat
get
Phillips,
Matip.
just
He's
if you
he's
can get
30. Nat Phillips. I'd probably keep him as the fourth centre back personally, and sell Matip, and just not buy a
Sure.
centre
Yeah,
back.
I agree.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I'd sell
Yeah, I
Matip. I
agree.
would have got rid of him in the summer. I don't rate him particularly at all. I know he's had a few good games, but most of the time he's just a disaster waiting to happen for me, and he's always bloody injured. We should have sold him a long time ago. Nat Phillips has proven he can do the job. You've got what's his face at right back coming through, Connor Bradley. So Nico Williams could be sold. Much as I like, he's got a great future on him, but we've got Bradley coming through. Cater can go.
But is Bradley ready? Is Bradley ready to be first team?
Oh, he looks it for me.
Okay.
And he
Ox-
only has to be a backup anyways.
Yeah, exactly. He's only cover. So he'll probably play less than Simicus. So what's it matter? Yeah, what was I say? Yeah,
My point is, there's
Ox, you reached up to Ox.
the
Yeah.
Ox needs to go for sure.
Yep,
Ox
Ox-
needs to
Ox
go. He
gotta
needs
go.
he needs a new start somewhere to kickstart his career.
And of course you're selling
Newcastle.
Firmino as well for a bit because we're talking about selling him anyway.
Yeah. So would you agree there's a mini rebuild going on this summer at Liverpool?
Has to be. There's far too many needed.
Yeah.
It's only
You
mini,
think
though.
it'll
It's
happen,
not
though?
like a huge one. I mean, you're not talking about a huge
Yeah,
turnover.
I
Because you've
think
got
5 or
players
6
like,
players.
what's his face? Connor Bradley, obviously, like at right back, like I said. Tyler Morton, that's the one I was trying to think of. And you got Dixon Bonner, who can come in and fill a midfield place. Musialovsky can come, can challenge for the.
There's Kaide Gordon as well.
Yeah, well, I
Yeah,
don't.
but these are
I'm not
kids.
ca- I'm
These
not
are
sure about
kids. You're
this,
not going to
Gordon.
get.
But they're not. They're 18, 19 years old. How old's
Yeah, but-
Greenwood? How old's Rash? You know
But
what I mean?
these-
They need to
19.
play regularly.
Yeah,
They're
but
at the
these
age they need
kids
to
are
play.
not going to.
They can play, mate. I mean,
I hear you. That they
Trent
need to
Alexander
play
Arnold
for sure, but
came
the
in
thing
and
is,
took this place at that. Harvey Elliott.
As
How
an
old's he?
18-year-old.
How old's he? Harvey Elliott,
18.
18. Exactly.
Jude Bellingham,
Yeah.
Pedri.
They need to be playing if they're going to have any chance of making a. Dixon Bonner's 20. He's not a. He's old enough. He should be pushing into the first team regularly if he's going to make it.
but so you've named 3 or 4 players that we could sell potentially, right? And I just don't. I just think it's going to take. It needs an overall, and that's what I'm worried about this summer. This is a make or break season for us because I think there will be an overhaul, and I don't think it'll be a mini one. I think it won't be a massive. I think it'll be a medium-sized one, and it needs to be right because this is going to be.
Can I just say, Abid, right?
Yeah.
You were slating people on the site before about overreacting. I think
Exactly.
you're overreacting just as
No,
much
no,
as
no,
them.
no.
By
I
wanting
was
to have a full rebuild to
no, not a full
something
rebuild.
that
I
doesn't
didn't
need
say that.
fixing.
I didn't say
For
that. I
me.
didn't say a full rebuild. I said that needs
Okay,
to be
okay,
a
I
mid-sized
apologise for
rebuild overall because
Yeah.
these. I said there'll be a mid-sized rebuild. That's my opinion. That's my opinion.
Yeah, of course. Everything's about opinions. But
Exactly.
I
don't
think that what Liverpool have got at the moment doesn't need fixing by much.
Not
I
this
still think
season, it doesn't.
I still think
we've
they're
got
the best
enough
team
to take
in
us
the league at the moment. I think they're one of the best teams in Europe, which they show in their qualifying games. And I don't think there's a lot needs fixing. This is me as an outsider,
Yeah.
right? I don't think there's
It needs.
enough to. It needs a little bit here and a little bit there. It doesn't need getting rid of quite a few players. It just needs a little bit of upgrading. Maybe not this season. Maybe next season.
Yes,
Maybe the
exactly.
season after.
You've hit the nail on the
1, 2,
head. It doesn't need
For me,
fixing now.
for me.
It needs fixing in the summer. That's what I think.
Yeah, but not all at once. You don't have to do it all at once. That just unbalances the side. You do it gradually, and you get one this season. Get rid of Bobby this season. In 2 seasons' time, get rid of Mane, and probably the season after, maybe Salah will go, and you'll get someone else in. But it's got to be done gradually. I don't think you can do 3 of your top performers, 2 or 3 in one go. I think that disrupts the side, and I think you've got to do it a
But
bit more
maybe
gradually.
not, Billy. What's to say that it doesn't? If you bring 3 or 4 players in, what's to say it does? That does disrupt the style. Maybe it gives it the fillip that, because at the moment you're right. I agree with you guys that it doesn't need fixing now. I mean, it just needs organisational tweaks. But this in the summer, I think we need to get a few players in.
Ask Spurs what happens when you sell your better players and replace them with a bunch of other players.
Yeah, but maybe we don't replace them with just a bunch of other players.
With Jack Grealish? They only sold 1 player, brought in a bunch. They brought in 4 or 5 players, and it completely unsettles the side. You need to do it gradually.
I just don't think they will. I think there'll be 3 or 4 new players in come summer. I just feel that. And maybe it's not the logical approach, but maybe they. But
that's not the way Klopp works. Have you ever seen him change 3 or 4 players in a team in one go? He sits them on the sidelines for months before they break into the team, most of them.
Yeah. Well, maybe we need to just see. Let's just see how this one pans out, because I just think there will be a bit of an overhaul.
Is this not a reaction to you panicking because Michael Edwards is leaving? Which I don't understand your panic about that, because I don't understand why you think he's so special. I really don't understand the thinking. What he's done so special. I really need you to explain this to me.
We'll get to it later.
Well, we're on the. We've finished
Michael
the games.
Edwards
This is it. So we might as well go on to it.
You don't think Michael Edwards has worked wonders for us compared to his predecessors? What? Go on, explain.
Well, Smith and in the past we had much better ones. I'm sorry, he's not done.
I'm not saying he was
special? He couldn't offload players that we wanted rid of. He couldn't bring in the players we wanted. So.
Who didn't he bring in that we wanted?
Well, lots of players. That's why we ended up with 3rd and 4th choice players. Sometimes it's worked out.
Salah was 3rd, 4th choice.
Exactly, but I'm not. Yeah, that doesn't mean he's done a good job, because his job is to bring in the 1st choice.
Yeah, but you can't. I mean, sometimes your hands are tied behind your back. If
but that's my point. So tell me what he's done so good. He's given massive contracts to everyone, so he's not kept their contracts down, which is part of his job. He was great at statistical analysis, but he's just not a negotiator. I'm sorry, I just don't understand what he's done so well in that position to get your adulation. He's just another negotiator, and we could have better. He priced out half our team when we were trying to offload players. He's priced them out of the market completely, so we were stuck with them.
But what about Solanke? Smith, he's got ridiculous feet.
Because as soon as Howe's left, as soon as Howe's not at Bournemouth, we can't sell anyone. So it's obviously not him, is it? That was Howe being a moron.
How can you say that Howe's would just? You're telling me Howe's had carte blanche, and those Bournemouth owners would just spend ridiculous amounts of money on his
Howe had to ask for someone to come in and take over the recruitment at Bournemouth, because he admitted himself he was so bad at it. So how can you question? That's something he's admitted himself. He came out and asked for someone to take over the role from him.
1 minute. So you're saying you're completely discounting everything Michael Edwards has done at Liverpool?
No, I'm not discounting it. I'm just saying I don't see what's so special about it. What he's done that anybody couldn't have done in that role, that took the role. I don't see that he's actually as outstanding as you're making out. He's failed miserably to offload most of the players we were trying to get rid of.
Yeah, but so you're telling me, right?
So what has he done so special? No, tell me what he's done so special.
1 minute. He's brought Harvey Elliott into the club, right?
No, he
sold Dominic Solanke for 20. 1 minute. Let me finish. He's brought Harvey Elliott into a club for 3 million or something dumb. He sold Dominic Solanke for 20 odd million. He's brought Becker in, right? He's brought Fabinho in. He sold Sacco for 26 million or something. He's brought Salah in.
Wasn't he? Not, that wasn't him in the role. Whoa! Sacco was before him.
Got good money for Brewster.
Yeah.
No,
So-
1 minute, 1
so
minute.
one player-
Sorry, he sold Sacco for 26 million.
Did he? Or wasn't it before him?
Yes. No, he sold him for 20. He sold him for nearly 30 million.
Are you sure? Because I'm sure that was when he
So
was...
what did you
I
get
just
for him,
don't think
Joe?
how people think that he's not done a stellar job. Yeah, maybe he hasn't got rid of some players that we needed to get rid of, but I mean, I'm not sure that he's done a bad job that you say.
I didn't say he's doing a
okay,
bad job. What I said
let's
was he
rephrase
isn't
the
doing
question.
a better job than anybody else could do. That's what I'm saying. He's not done anything special.
Is he irreplaceable? That
No,
is the thing.
not at all.
I think he is easily maybe too common a word, but he is very replaceable, I think.
Yeah, but how? What evidence have you got to say that? I don't get it. How you guys can just make these general sweeping
Well, what evidence have
generalizations
you
about
got? You've
Edwards?
come out with a bunch of players, but I've
So you
explained
tell me,
why.
you give me evidence to why he's so poor. You
I
tell me
haven't
why
said
he's so
poor.
poor.
Nothing I've
All
said
right,
is
why?
said
All
he's
right, so
poor.
why?
What I've
Give
said
me-
is he's done nothing special. He's done nothing to receive this adulation. You're making out like the club's going
But
to collapse because he's going. It's not
there's
going to matter.
He's got mitigating circumstances. He's
Well,
working with a framework that we don't spend lots of money.
but he
he's
can still
got-
sell players. He doesn't have to price them out of the market.
There's been a pandemic also. I mean, you can't sell players in a pandemic. I mean, there's
Well, plenty of
other
other clubs
mitigating
are
factors.
managed.
Sorry, he sold players. I've just given you examples of players he sold for a lot of money.
I
just
don't know much
see
about this, to be honest with you.
Sorry?
You know, I don't know much about the Italian
But
ways of
Bill, if
Liverpool.
you had Michael Edwards at Everton rather than Brands, I'm sure you'd be a happier fan. I just don't think he's not done as. I think he's been
He's
more
not
than
a-
adequate.
But that's the point. He's just more than adequate. He's not special. You could just bring somebody else in. You're acting like it was a big deal.
Yes, because I'm
It's not,
comparing
it's
him
just
with the other
moving.
idiots we had before him, Cecil the Clown and what's his name, the one with the motorbike, Ian. What's his
Ian
name?
Air.
Ian
Ian
Air.
Air.
Yeah, exactly.
But they weren't sporting directors.
But they did the negotiations of the transfers.
Yeah, but now we've got a specific sporting director, and that's the role he was filling. Not Ian Ayres.
Yeah, but
he wasn't working. They were doing other jobs as well.
And exactly, so it's apples for apples. So he's
No, it's
done a
not
better
apples
job than
for
the other
oranges
two.
because they were doing a different job altogether. That's my point. You're comparing
Which were
him to
what
people that were doing.
What was their job?
Ian Ayres wasn't a sporting director, was he? What was he, CEO?
Yeah, but it's all different.
So-
I mean, it's an amalgamation, isn't it? I mean, I'm sure they do.
No,
in
what
the end,
they've
they
done
do the
is
same job.
they've the opposite. They've not amalgamated it. That would be putting the jobs together. They've taken them apart and given. And what Michael Edwards has done is just a small part of what other people were doing before as part of their jobs. And that's what I'm saying is you're comparing him to people who were doing another job as well. You know, we're doing running the club as well as doing the negotiations, which is where the problem lay.
Ian Ayre was a chief executive officer. Ian
yeah,
Ayre,
exactly.
okay.
That's well
Ian
above.
Ayre was a chief executive officer. You tell me what he was doing at Liverpool that's different to
Commercial.
what's
He
his
was
name,
running the
Edwards.
commercial arm. He would have done it. Sporting director doesn't have anything like the same amount of responsibilities of a CEO. If you don't understand, I mean, that's blatantly obvious. It's not even close. I don't know. CEO runs everything, the whole company.
Okay.
He
Okay,
runs the commercial
compare
arm, the
apples to apples.
marketing,
Let's
the
compare apples to
sponsorship,
apples.
everything like that. He's working
Okay.
with.
Let's compare apples to apples. As a negotiator, as somebody who was dealing with transfers, in my opinion, Michael Edwards has done a better job than Purslow and Ian Ayre.
Yeah, but he's a specific sporting director. That's my point. Is now they've split the job up. You've got to compare him to people who are doing a sporting director's job at places like Bayern and companies, clubs like that, rather than comparing him to people who did a completely different job from him before he's at Liverpool.
I just don't see. I'm sorry, we have to beg to differ on this one. I think he's done a very good job. and his
But I
and you
haven't said
talk
he
about
hasn't.
adulation.
All I'm saying is he hasn't
Then
done
why
this
is he
magnificent
heralded?
job.
Why
It's
is he
not
so
going to go.
heralded then by the media,
Well,
players of, his peers, the fans? I don't understand. Am I missing something? Clearly, you
how
know
many of
something
them?
that
Well,
everybody
how
else
many of them
doesn't.
know anything about the game? Let's be honest. How many of the
Yeah, but
pundits
then
and the
how do
media
you know? Is it
anything about
how?
it?
What do you know? You tell us then. Pray tell what you know
No,
about
I've just
the
said
inside
I
workings
think
of
he's
Michael
done a
Edwards'
good
work.
job. My point is, I'm saying he's not irreplaceable. He's not this. It's not going
Okay,
to
all right, I
collapse
get
because
that.
he's
But what
going.
do you? All
You're
right, so
claiming he
okay,
was
let's
going
get into the
to.
meat,
You
nuts
just
and
give
bolts.
somebody the
What do
same
you
job.
know about what do you know about Michael Edwards' role that everybody else doesn't know?
What are you
I
talking
think we've
about?
exhausted this point,
You're not
boys. I
listening
think
to what I'm saying.
I am listening. You're
I
telling me
know.
that other people don't know how he works. You do, so tell us.
That's not what I've
I
said
think
at
we've
all.
exhausted this point, and I think we need to
You're
move
not
on,
listening.
boys. It's
I am listening. I want you to tell me
we've got
what Michael
loads. We've
Edwards.
got loads to
No,
discuss.
let's just
Besides,
move on because it's pointless. You're not
I
listening
think
at
I
all.
think so.
No, it's you. You've just told me, right, that other people don't know Michael Edwards' day-to-day job. What is it? Tell me.
God's sake, let's just move on. You're not at this point.
Isn't
All
it?
right, let's move on.
He's a
then.
sporting
Let's move
director.
on.
I've told you. His role
Okay,
is not
sporting director,
CEO.
but you seem to think he's not done the greatest job in the
For
world.
fuck's sake. No, that isn't what I've said for 300 times. I've said he's done a good job. Not this. He's not going to fall apart, though, the club like you were making out when he's gone. Because somebody else will
I
just take
just
his
said
role
to
and
him,
do the same
I
job.
just said he's
Julian
going to be a
Ward
big
will.
loss. That's all. I didn't say.
It's
I
not
didn't
what you
say
said. You
the
made out
club's
on
going
the
to fall apart. I didn't make out on the widget that I said it's a big loss. That's what I said.
You had
I
him
didn't
down
say
as
the
being the
club's going to fall
CEO,
apart. Stop
comparing him
pulling
to Dave.
words
You
in
were
my mouth.
comparing him to Dean and Gill, who both. You were saying about he's the same role as
Right.
Dean and Gill. Why wasn't he revered and heralded and held in the highest of esteem?
Right,
Same
exactly.
as them. But you've just said
negotiated
now. You're just telling
transfers.
me now. You're arguing now that he's held in the highest esteem by media and stuff. So which is it?
Right. Dean, yes, I did say that. The media, the sports media, have hold him in high regard.
But
And
you just said he
I want
wasn't
to know.
held in high esteem on the
I did
widget.
say that. I said he was held in high regard by the sports media.
Have the same role. Yet they were heralded, revered, and held in the highest esteem. You've said.
Dean and Gill were held in high regard, right? Dean and Gill were held in high regard by the sports media, and I'm saying Edwards is as well.
But that was. Never mind. Let's just move
Time
on.
to move on,
let's
boys.
move on.
Time
There's
to
no
move
point.
on.
You're not.
Let's move on. We've got loads to discuss here, by the way.
Yeah, let's
all
do
the
the.
managers coming in.
Yeah, I was going to say,
But
should we just
let's
move on
do
to all the
the
managers? Which one
I think
first?
we have to.
Start
Yeah.
with Newcastle, Eddie Howe. Considering we just mentioned him.
For me, that's not. I don't understand the appointments. Is he temporary? Was they given an 18-month contract? Should they have got someone in who's going to be long term, who's going to build a club? It's a project. It's not going to be something that's a quick fix. I think we all know that. I think Eddie Howe is a poor choice. This is my opinion, of course. I think he's a half-decent manager, probably more Championship than Premiership for me. But if this is a long-term Newcastle appointment, I don't think he's the right man. I don't know how you others feel about that.
No, terrible appointment. But they've got plenty of money to spend, so
If he starts getting his players buying players notice, the manager
well, yeah, he won't. He's not in charge of it.
won't want them players.
Yeah, he's not in charge of the transfers, though. He's not even. That's not going to be his job. He's just head coach. That's it. So.
Have they got a sporting director? Have they got a sporting
they're
director?
still
Michael Edwards.
They're still looking for him.
Good old Mickey.
I'd like to see that.
Me
Then
too.
we'd see. But what's going to say? Oh, I was going to say it'd be interesting to see how he gets on with Ryan Fraser, considering how things ended with them two.
Yeah. It's but do you think that going forward for Newcastle that he was the right appointment when they were linked with people like Fonseca and Ragnick.
Well,
Surely they'd have been a better choice going forward than what Howe is for me. I think he's uh, a bit of a panic buy to get someone in
Terrible.
before the end of the season, and I think it could end in tears for Eddie Howe.
Terrible choice.
I mean, that's just me. Like, I don't know. How do the others feel? Rob, how do you feel, Deeps?
I don't think that they did themselves any favour of surviving a massive relegation battle by bringing him in either. I don't think it's the right call, and like you said, Bill, and it's one of my favourite sayings. I think it's going to end in tears.
Well, I put a list of today on the on the news thing, the news review. Because of this, I put a list of the out of work managers. Just some of them. A long list as it turned out because it was so bloody many. I hadn't realised how many there was when I started it. And it was like huge long list of like some of the the ones. But to me, I mean, Domenico Tedesco, why isn't he in work? Surely he'd be the better choice. He was a star. He was like the rising star in the Bundesliga not so long ago, weren't he, Deeps?
Oh, he was the topper of the class that Julian Nagelsmann attended.
Exactly.
And Nagelsmann was second.
Wouldn't you go for him? If he's surely the man to go for. He's out of work. He got sacked by Spartak Moscow in May. He's the one. When I looked through the list, he was the one that stood out by a mile. It's like, you've got to get him. If you've got you've got a position open, surely he's the one you go for. You're thinking if Villa went for Gerrard. I mean, what they doing? Then they've got him when he's available. I just do not understand it. He has to be the man you go for if you've got an open job right now.
But what do you think on that appointment?
But I think they took the wrong approach because they should be going with a technical director, sporting director, director of football, whatever term they give, but they need to start from the top level and then go from there. Not recruit a head coach, manager, whatever they want to call it, and then start looking for someone else because maybe that guy doesn't agree with Eddie Howe and his style and his philosophy and his choices of players and everything. Or maybe Eddie Howe doesn't get along with the guy you eventually end up recruiting. So you're handicapped yourself because when you bring someone in as a director of football or whatever term you use, it's because you want that guy to essentially take charge of the whole club and how it plays and how it is run and everything.
See him as an interim appointment, Deeps. Someone who's going to get them over the hurdle of saving them from relegation, and then they're going to start building after that. Or do you think that he's an appointment that the hoping will put them on the right foot and keep his job if they do well?
I think it's more a case of scraping down the barrel of the bottom of the barrel because it seems like they were turned down or didn't agree with the ideas with other candidates like Fonseca, Fabra, and etc. So maybe it's more a case of at least he is accepting of the terms and conditions and everything. I think that might actually be the case because he was nowhere in the running to begin with, and then he was the only standout candidate left. So maybe Newcastle have a bigger job of being an attraction than they first thought they were.
Fair point.
Because how the hell do you end up with Eddie Howe when you're in a relegation battle and can't stop conceding and dropping points and everything?
Yeah. And you've got unlimited money to spend.
Just been taken over.
At least if it was somewhere like an Aston Villa or even in Everton that took a chance, then you could understand maybe they see something with his style of play and everything. But right now for Newcastle, what they need is to stay in the league. That should be the only focus right now, and then try and build on for next season.
I think
Because
it's
what?
I think it's a delicious irony where you need points to stay up, and you build from the back in order to do that, and you get somebody in like Howe who can't defend.
Yeah.
I just think that it just stinks of just bad decision making. Obviously, no research.
I think at the end of the day, it just comes down to the point that they're not football people running the club, so they're easily impressionable and all those kinds of things.
I just think he's there for the season. I don't think he'll be there next season, regardless.
Don't think even if he saves them, he'll stay.
No, I don't think. I just think that he'll be gone. I think he'll be gone next season, regardless of what. I mean, obviously, unless they have a meteoric rise, that's different. But I think if he saves them from relegation. How long did he sign his contract for?
18 months, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, end of next season, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's a short-term thinking, obviously, and that's supplement. I mean, evidence endorsed by his
I
contract.
think so too.
Yeah, I think so. I think it was just let's just get somebody in quick. But I
Yeah.
still think it smacks of stupidity choosing that particular person to get in quick. Just shows that they
Yeah.
haven't got a clue about the game for me. I mean, there's options. I mean, Diego Martinez is another one who's been out of work since
Yeah.
June from Granada.
Yeah.
I mean, he's another one you look at and you go, well, he's done all right. If you just want good football, you go for someone like Setien, don't you?
If I were them, I'd go for somebody like Wenger and Ragnick just to go to start a blueprint for them, a future
Ragnick.
for them.
Ralph Ragnick would have been the
Yeah.
ideal signing for them, but
Yeah.
He's not
I saw
interested.
that.
they were
is he?
just they were just looking in the wrong direction. They should have looked at the likes of Lucas Campos and even Monchi if they could tempt him to take the job. They should have continued with their search for director of football or whatever it is.
Do you think Monty would have been the right choice though? I think he showed that he's not that good when he's got money to spend. At Roma, you know what I mean? They gave him money to spend and he basically blew it. I think he's one of those that's good scraping around the bargain bin looking for cheap signings. When you give him a budget, I think he struggles because he doesn't know how to spend it. He gets carried away.
So you mean someone that came from Leicester to Everton, that scout, who signed Gylfi
Steve
Sigurdsson?
Walsh.
Yeah, Walsh.
Yeah, like that. I mean, there's plenty of options. They could have gone for someone like Lucien Favre to bring in from the beginning. He could have taken over as head coach and done the sporting director role, whatever you want to call it. The director of football role, and then step up to the director of football at the end of the season once it's sorted and get somebody in beneath him. Couldn't
I was saying they should be looking at Favre right from the get-go.
Yeah, and me. Yeah, I agreed with you on that one. I think that's the one. That would have been the choice for me. But him and Tedesco would have been the dream pairing, I think. And I just don't understand why they've ended up with Howe. You've got unlimited money. You could go for anyone you want. How does he? How does Howe?
Even Ernesto Valverde.
Yeah, well, exactly. Yeah, another one. But there's just so many options out there. Like I said, there's a huge list of names. It was huge. Luis Fernandez did a decent job at PSG. He's got to be better than Howe, hasn't he?
Maybe these people, some of them got language barriers, and also Eddie Howe knows the English game. Maybe they just wanted to get out of they wanted somebody to get them out of a relegation battle, and then
they should have gone. Sorry, Abid, but then they should have gone for Chris Wilder.
Yeah. Yeah, if you just wanted to get out of a relegation battle, you go for someone like that, don't you?
Yeah, but he did take Sheffield United down as well.
And Eddie Howe took Bournemouth.
Yeah,
exactly.
With spending a lot more money to do so than Chris Wilder ever got, and he had a League One side. He took up to the Premier League and winning the championship of a League One side that had virtually no spending on it and kept them in the Premier League doing really well. I mean, it's a bit harsh to say who failed. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but this is all
Considering-
conjecture. I mean, in 6 months' time, you never know. Eddie Howe might take him to 11th in the league, and you know what? Everybody's going to say what a fantastic appointment that was. So
Do you
it
think
is what
he's
it is. It's done.
Does anyone think he's likely to though?
No, probably
No.
not. But you know, just see what happens. I
He
mean,
was
it's done now.
touted for the England job not so long back, wasn't he? He really was. He was touting for the England job.
Well, when you consider the choice was Gareth Southgate they made, I'm not sure. I'm not sure that's really giving him a big shout out. Like, you know what I mean? It's not really a big thing, is it? You know, when you say Southgate who failed at Middlesbrough.
Here's Rob's one now. Let's talk about Farker.
Come on, Nora. Come on. You wanted to do this one. Sorry, what was that, Rob? You went quiet.
I said they finally told him to fuck off. They finally.
It's not what you've been waiting to tell. You know, you and Abid belong together with the jokes.
Isn't it strange though with Farker, right? That he goes almost 5 years not winning the game, and then he wins one and gets sacked. you couldn't write it, could you? You couldn't write the script.
And have you seen the names they're talking to?
Frank Lampard.
Lampard.
Yeah, Lampard.
Lampard.
What?
Yeah.
How does that? I mean, how does that make any sense? If you're going to get rid of him, at least go for someone better.
Yeah. Yeah. He seems a nice guy as well, doesn't he? You know what I mean? But I don't think he knows a lot about football. And it was a strange decision
Who,
that
Lampard or Farker?
both of them, to be honest with you. But I just don't know why they chose his first game, his first win, to actually finish him up. You know, I think it was a strange one for me. Although we talked about it last week, didn't we? That, you know, he was obviously out there to be sacked. You know, all the signs were there that he was going to get sacked. But it did come as a bit of a shock to me that he actually went on Saturday night.
Yeah.
His talk after the game was all about, well, you know, we're getting a rhythm now and all that, and then the second straight.
Clearly, the decision had been made a while ago.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Oh.
Surely the decision was already made because they had the game and then they knew that they have a
Yeah.
international break right after it,
Yeah.
so they can interview guys and sort themselves out.
Yeah. Yeah, I think he had to go, didn't he? I think he had to go.
But
I think
think he knew?
the players knew. That is why they actually tried to do something.
You may be right.
Because he couldn't get a tune out of them for trying so hard.
yeah, they let him down badly, to be fair.
But Norwich they just aren't a good team. It doesn't matter
No,
who goes there. They aren't a Premier League level side, and they seem to have already accepted it even before the season started. So what's the point?
And why would you look at ones like Lampard anyway? Why is he in the running? Somebody explain that one to me.
His name.
Because they are planning for next season in the championship. It seems they don't.
But he failed in the championship.
Well, he did get top 4 with
Yeah.
But they didn't get promoted, and he had the best team by far in the league with the biggest budget. Which is why they're in so much financial difficulty, because they kept spending the most money year after year after year.
Yeah, they should be looking for a manager who has a history of getting his team into top 4, finishing second, finishing third, reaching finals and everything. That's the kind of CV they should be looking at.
Sounds like Ole.
That's what I was wondering if you go in there. But I don't think he's the right man for the job. I think he's got a much bigger job on where he is. He should stay there. Surely it's someone like Dean Smith has got to be the answer there, hasn't it?
Mm.
Yeah, talking of which, Chris, nice transition.
I thought.
What about Smith? What about Smith gone?
Yeah, you
Was
guys
it a
called it.
surprise? Not to me, it wasn't. Rob.
No, I said you guys called it. You were talking about it last week, and it happened.
Yeah. Did he deserve to get sacked, do we think? He's got 5 games out to win, 5 big defeats on the trot. He's doing something, he was trying to build something. Lost his best player, which was Grealish. Invested the money, hasn't worked out for him. I think it's a bit of a harsh one, but it wasn't a surprise to me.
I think they panicked a bit too much, to be honest.
Yeah, possibly.
Yeah, I think it's too early to get, but because of the Grealish thing, they were worried about the fans turning on them for selling Grealish, so they panicked and got rid of Smith, so they can point the finger of blame at him.
Yeah.
That's
So
what
how do we
I
think Gerrard will
Hmm?
go? How do we think Gerrard will go replacing him? Is he ready for it?
Only time will tell, I say.
Let's talk before we. I think what we should do is talk about the ethical appointment. Do you think he did the right thing walking out of Rangers halfway through the season?
Well,
Personally,
after
I
he
think
said he wouldn't. He
yeah,
said
exactly
the same thing when Rodgers left Celtic. He said he'd never do that. So.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's just. I think it's an awful thing to do, and I understand why he did it because he wants to probably cut his teeth in the Premiership and then go on to the big job that he's always wanted, obviously. But I just think to do what he did to Rangers and take some of the backroom staff with him probably is just it's not cricket. It's not right.
It's not.
I mean,
it's not good.
I'm just going to say something in his defence because, somebody has to give the other side, be the devil's advocate, whatever. Do you not think that what weighed on his mind was when he was at Liverpool, he had the chance to go to Chelsea as a player, had the deal all agreed, and then obviously got convinced to change his mind and stay, while Liverpool won virtually nothing, won a couple of cups in his time. Chelsea went on and dominated the league for a while and won Champions League and stuff in the period while he was still playing. Do you not think that weighed on his mind that he missed his chance to move there and he's thought, this could be the same situation. If I don't move, I'm going to regret it.
Funnily enough, I disagree.
I'm just putting that out there, so I'm not actually saying that's
what.
So.
Simply because more than likely he would have won a second title at Rangers. His reputation would have been enhanced. He could have probably had the pick of his jobs outside the top 4 in England and in maybe other European leagues. I think the timing stinks. I don't blame the guy for wanting to move on. I understand he got him to 55. He got Rangers to 55. I just don't think the Rangers fans will appreciate the timing of the move. And listen, they all knew he was going to move on. It wasn't a 10-year career at Rangers for sure. It wasn't some kind of tenure. But in my opinion, I just think it was the wrong thing for him to do. It's unethical. It's unprofessional. And if Klopp did that to us now, I'd be so pissed.
I'm with you on it. So I was just giving trying to give a reasoning for him.
Yeah, but Tristan, in fact, I think if he'd have won the second title at Rangers, he'd have got better jobs than the Villa jobs. And I'm not saying that. Yeah, I just don't. I mean, I don't know what you guys think, Tristan, Rob, Deeps. I mean, the timing is just absolutely stinks for me. Completely.
I think he's a bit of a Mars bar. I really do think he's a bit of a Mars bar. And I think that he's made a big mistake. Because I don't think he's got the experience to take the Villa job for a start.
You might have a point,
Billy. I think he's in a 2-horse race in Scottish football where, and he's won the title. Well done to him, but it is a two-horse race. He's going into the Premiership now as a fledgling manager because he's only done a little bit in Scotland. A fledgling manager. If he knackers it up at Villa, he's not getting a job at any top team.
That's what
he's putting his career on the line here. If he doesn't do well for Aston Villa, there's no chance of him getting the job. I think he had to save his apprenticeship a bit more at Rangers, say another 2 years at Rangers, which he's got a great chance of enhancing his reputation by winning the league, 3 leagues on the trot. Then have a go at someone, not an Aston Villa, who, for me, they're looking to get immediate success with the money they've laid out. And I think it might be a bad appointment for him. And if he falls flat in his face, I certainly won't be one to be looking to pick him up.
Yeah, I think he's...
Go on.
Go on, Tristan, go on, mate.
I was just going to say they're 4 points clear at the top. The Rangers are 4 points clear at the top of the Scottish Premier League. Like, it seems a strange time to want to move as well.
Yeah, it does, yeah.
Looked like he jumped at any chance he could get to manage in the Premier League, but I think this is just, again, personal opinion, I think he's jumped too quick. I think it's a massive task to take on the Villa job, especially with how things are there, and I think it would have been a lot safer for him to finish the season in Scotland with Rangers, have another crack at winning a title, like you said, Bill, and then seeing your options maybe at the end of the season and see where it goes from there. But look, Gerrard being Gerrard, as a Liverpool fan, and I wish him well and all, but like Albert said as well, I'd be pretty pissed off if I was a Rangers fan. I could totally understand that.
Not just that, one more thing. I've just remembered something else he said. He said he never wanted to manage against Liverpool in the Premier League. That was another of the things he'd said.
Yeah, he did too.
Funny how that's gone when they're offering him a big contract, isn't it? His mate Perslow's obviously been tapping him up for a while, let's be honest.
Yeah.
That's what this is about. Perslow's a snake. You wouldn't trust him with anything, let's be honest. And he'll have been tapping him up for a while. Come here, we'll give you money to spend. Yeah, go on, Stevie.
Stevie, me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he was a great player, but he was very much about himself.
Mars bar.
Yeah, absolute Mars bar, yeah.
I remember he did a charity match once. I can't remember what it was for. You know that one they played on the Monaco pitch every year. They used to anyway. I don't know. It's for some charity or other. Big. And they interviewed him after the game, and he said something about and some of these players are even bigger names than I am, like that. And I just thought, knobheads, you absolute bellend. That just really is.
We'll know what his credentials are because he's obviously got money to spend at Villa. He's been promised money, otherwise he won't take it. So we'll see how he does. I mean, Rangers was a bit of a... you can't really tell what his management skills are like because he doesn't have big money or anything like that. And he bought a lot of players in from... he knew loan players in from clubs he was favoured with. So we'll see what happens this time.
Might give the Aussie boy a chance to win the Scottish Premier League.
Oh, Postecoglou.
The
Greek boy.
The Aussie boy.
I don't think I think it is. He might have a bit more than he can chew here. I feel sorry for Smith, but as we said last week, he was on the precipice. Even though I thought he was a bit harsh after only 5 losses on the trot, I'll want to give a person. But I think Gerrard might have made a mistake here. I think he's putting his career on the line, as I said before. If he doesn't do well there at Villa, it doesn't get them into Europe and he's got money to spend. If he doesn't get them in the top 8, it's going to be a failure for him.
Nah,
They're
top
in a
8.
relegation battle at the
I
moment.
think.
Yeah.
Bill, do you think he's done it to be close to home, closer to Liverpool?
Closer
Maybe
to
it was
his
a
kids, yeah.
family, yeah.
Possibly, very
No, just the
possibly,
kids,
yeah, very
not the
possibly.
wife.
Yeah.
I'm quite sure the wife didn't come into the thinking at all, knowing their history. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think it's the wife that's the issue. It's the kids,
No.
definitely.
Yeah,
Because he's less than 2 hours away now instead of being full. But he still managed to get back. I mean, my mum and dad used to see him all the time, sat out in the coffee shop having a coffee in Sowie. So he didn't have no trouble getting home regularly.
yeah. I mean, then if that's the case, then you can understand. I mean, if it's a decision based on family, then you can understand that because why he did it. But it's still, again, I still feel that maybe he should have made that decision at the end of the season.
I think if that is the case, it would have looked better on this thing if you come out and say, listen, I really need to be near my family. I'm going to take the opportunity because I need to be closer to my family. You know, that's why I'm going mid-season. Not just Villa want me. Sod you give me the chance. But sod I'm going down to Villa because I'm going to get more money and I want to play in the managing the Premiership.
Yeah.
To be fair, if you're a Rangers fan, you've got to say from the start, I wouldn't have been happy with him being appointed because his first comments were along the lines of how he wanted to manage Liverpool in the future. He didn't really talk about how he's, he wasn't talking about Rangers. He was talking about it as a stepping stone to Liverpool.
Yeah.
Is he a
from the
dead
start.
cert? Is he a dead cert for the Liverpool job? He keeps talking about. Is he a dead cert though?
Well,
I
he
don't
must be
think he is.
considered because of who he is. That's why he's got a chance. But he's got to prove
Yeah, but
himself
what-
first.
Like if
Even
Billy
if he
says,
fails at Villa.
yeah, if he like you
No,
say,
well, if
Billy
he
and Rob
fails,
saying
no,
if he messes
he's done.
up.
So
But
he
he'll have-
really is taking a big chance.
No, but Rob, really, Rob, I'm not sure though, Rob, but he's going to get every single opportunity and time that Dean Smith didn't get because of Purslow, because them two are like really close. So he loses 5 in a row. There's no way Gerrard will get fired. He'll have the time. He'll have the time to make that, turn it around for sure. That wasn't afforded to Dean Smith because Purslow and Gerrard are really close, and I think that was another reason they went for him because Purslow wanted him.
Yeah, that's what it's about.
Yeah.
They've chosen.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, I can see that.
It's a reason to. Personally, I don't understand why Perslow's in a job, Pierce, but there you go.
Yeah.
But doesn't there have to be a bit more loyalty in managers? You know, they give them the job, they give them the job. He obviously took the job. And they brought him in to try and rebuild Rangers, which he's done. He got them in to win the league. Everything's going rosy. And he just says, no go.
But you
Yeah, Bill, you're right.
Loyalty.
Billy, you're right.
Yeah.
Because he revolutionised the academy there as well. So
Yeah.
he was doing a sterling job there. He was doing a stellar job there.
I think so, yeah.
Well, a lot of the Rangers fans think it's mostly about Michael Beale, to be honest. That's a lot of them been saying that for all along. They've been saying this isn't like something new. They've said it. A lot of them have said it's about Michael Beale's the key, and that's what they were gutted about. Is they think he's got because he's gone as well. That was the big thing there. But what was it gonna...
I was gutted when he left Liverpool, Michael Beale.
Yeah, he's highly rated as a coach. Yeah, he went out to Brazil, didn't he? He said he wants to go back there and manage there. Oh, what's it? Oh shit! I forgot what I was going to say then. Sorry.
Birmingham or Brazil? I'd know which choice I'd make. That's
exactly.
for sure. The Bull Ring or Brazil? Hard choice, that one.
I don't know, the Bull Rings. I mean, it's got all those lights outside now, hasn't it? They put those bubble things. The bubble lights, haven't they? Like at the Berlin.
Hey, Tristan, have you ever been to Brazil?
Well, obviously not.
There you go. So
I'm taking
there's no
the piss,
contest,
mate.
I don't care how many lights you put in Birmingham. There's no contest.
Yeah, I've been to Birmingham. I wouldn't go back if I had a choice. Let's put it that way. I was just trying to be fair.
There's no comparison.
Devil's advocate, It's hard when Birmingham's you know what you're advocating for, though, isn't it?
Exactly, yeah.
So how do we all think Gerrard will fare?
Good question. I think he'll be a flop.
Flop for you, Abid. How about you, Rob?
Sorry, guys, I just started my car.
Are you dogging,
Oh,
Rob?
where you go? Yeah, you flashing the lights.
Going dogging.
Are you flashing the lights, mate?
We've got a deviant in the midst.
It's just hit 6:20, so I thought I'd.
Are you
go down
flashing
and
those
get my-
lights?
Yeah, he's seen people walking the dogs, and he's thought, yeah, we're gonna have a bit of fun here.
Yeah.
Switch the light on inside the car.
I'm not focused.
Oh, well, what's he done?
How do you
Dog's
think
got in
Gerrard
the
will do,
car.
Rob?
The wrong person got in the wrong. The dog got in.
Oh, he might prefer that.
He's taking dogging
Oh,
literally.
Can you hear me?
Just about, mate. Well, don't know what you've done.
I connected to my car instead of the headset.
Oh, that's
No
good.
worries, I
nice.
can hear you, mate.
Yeah, just not good
Mate, if
quality.
How do you
you're
think you're
otherwise
doing?
engaged, it's no problem.
You guys
How do you think he'll do, Rob?
driving around Melbourne.
Right.
He's driving around. Should we be listening?
You better
to
hope
this?
the RSPCA ain't listening to this podcast, Rob.
It's conclusion. Is Stan Collymore with you?
Definitely not cruising.
Is Stan Collymore with you?
What's
Deeps is
next on the
thinking,
agenda, guys?
Deeps is trying to
Oh
figure
yeah,
out what
who's
we're on
yeah,
about.
who? Yeah, Bill asked the question if Steven Gerrard was going to be a hit or a flop.
Yeah, go on, Rob.
In
you're
time will
thinking yours.
tell.
Yeah.
Get off the fence, Deeps. Get off the fence. Give an opinion.
Well, I can't give any opinion because I've only watched one Rangers game in all his time at the helm. So how can I judge?
Oh,
I don't know whether his team are defensive, whether his team are like.
He tries to copy
Yes, are
Liverpool.
like
That's what he tries
which
to do.
Liverpool?
Klopp's Liverpool.
The currently,
Yeah, he tries to copy
maybe.
Klopp.
Well, there is one
What's
benefit. I don't think benefit is the correct word, but one upside. Yeah, upside for him is that Aston Villa are a good team that are not playing that well. He just needs to get the team to play to their potential, and they will be much better.
Yeah, I agree.
He's not taking over a club like, let's say, Norwich or even a Newcastle, where he has an uphill task to even meet the basic criteria. Saving Aston Villa should be on paper a very easy job because they are a good team and there are more than 5 teams that are much worse than them.
Yeah.
Rob's definitely out on the pull, isn't he?
Yeah.
I think he definitely goes down. Not maybe definitely, but I think there's a good chance he goes down as a flop. He's put all his eggs in one basket, and if it doesn't go well for him for Villa, then I can't see him getting a better job.
No, you're right, Rob.
I'd like to see him succeed, to be honest with you. An ex-Liverpool legend. I'd like to see him succeed. I just don't feel that he's got the experience to do it. He's had one coaching season at Liverpool. He's had one season in Scotland. And like Bill said, I just think he's...
3 years in Scotland, mate.
Oh, gotcha. All right, 3 years. 3 years?
Yeah, he's been there.
Yeah.
3 years. Well,
So how many titles has he won?
One.
What? So he's at...
And not won a single cup. That was the point I was going to make as well. He didn't win a single cup while he was there, which is worrying. You've got to say, when you've got a team like Rangers and Celtic are out of the running, Rangers have to win them, surely, but they didn't. I mean, wasn't it Livingston who won both of them last season?
Yeah.
So what would be a success for Gerrard at Villa? What would constitute success for Gerrard?
What
long
Leicester-
At this moment, come on. Go on,
term or
Chris.
short term?
Short to medium term.
Well, short term, he's just got a mid-table, just keep them out of relegation battle. Long term, he needs to get them into Europe, doesn't he?
Thank you.
I think for him, in the long term, if he has to qualify as a success, then he has to do what Brendan Rodgers has done with Leicester, consistently competing
fail?
for Champions League. No, consistently competing for Champions League with the
And
bigger
fail
teams.
to get it.
I think success would be winning an FA Cup and coming top 6. I think that'd be above par for Villa and for Gerrard. I think that'd be a very successful managership if he did that. Top 6 and winning an FA Cup or something.
Okay. Shall we move on? Are we going to discuss Xavi at Barcelona, or are we going to miss that one?
That is basically what Brendan Rodgers has done at Leicester. Top 6 in the FA Cup.
Yeah, I think
Thanks,
that's...
7 I say.
And I think...
Sorry, guys.
But Gerrard has had...
Rob's called. Someone's got in the car. Hey, who is it?
Beep, beep.
Come on! Oh! Please
Sorry, I
send
just picked up my phone.
Rob, introduce your new friend to us.
It's Dominic Calvert-Lewin in his dress.
Oh God! I
Oh,
hope your
that
missus isn't listening, Rob. You're in trouble if she is.
That was only one time.
What? Dominic Calvert-Lewin was only one time. Or
Wasn't far off.
no, it didn't.
Right,
Rob,
on that note,
yeah.
I'm going to have to love you and leave you guys. I've got a meeting. Thanks for today. I really enjoyed it.
That was good to see
Yeah.
you, Alan.
All right, mate.
Yeah,
cheers.
nice to see you,
Right,
Alan.
Mate.
Enjoy the rest of the pod. Good luck, guys.
See ya.
Next
Take care.
time,
Bye.
buddy.
Love you. Bye.
Bye.
Well,
Coopsy. Coopsy doopsy. Let's go. Come on.
is he's still on? He's talking to the dog.
Cooper. Come on, Cooper.
Said Dipsy
Oh God! Oh God! Nothing ever goes smooth, does it?
Right.
Are we going to talk about anyway? Are we going to talk about Xavi at Barca, or should we leave that one? Do anyone want to discuss anything about that?
Written in the stars.
Yeah, I think we need to say
Written in
that
the
he's in the job permanently. Is he took it up yet? I know
Yeah.
he's going to. Has he started?
Yeah, he's jumped in pretty much straight away. He just
Oh,
basically-
right. I didn't think it would start until next month
Oh, I thought he
after
was.
the incident.
he was watching. He was just watching the game against Celta Vigo.
Hmm,
He officially took over after the game, I think.
yeah,
Oh, did he?
He
All right.
was- That is
he
what
was
he
on a
means by-
flight the
yeah.
moment they, the moment he could.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he wasn't going to wait. Does anyone think he'll succeed there?
I
No,
don't think
because
he's got the money to succeed.
Yeah, exactly.
even Guardiola and Klopp would struggle. So
Yeah.
surely,
And I
surely
Should have
Xavi
had
is in
Ole.
that-
Should have gone with Ole. We know that's what you're saying.
Oh yes.
Ole
Ole,
will.
ole, ole, ole.
I mean, is Ole the most beloved manager of all time by opposition fans?
110%.
yeah.
Every opposition fan loves him. he's probably, the support you hear, the outpouring of support when anyone suggests sacking him is just huge. But none of it comes from Man United fans.
He's got more fans than haters.
Yeah.
Yeah, he has, yeah. He has, Robbie, you're right.
Right.
Poor deep stuff.
So, I don't know if you want to mention the Kretinsky buying into West Ham. Bought
Yeah,
27% of it.
Yeah, 150 million. What are they going to do with the money? What happens to the money they get? Does it go back into the club, or did it go to
No, it's the
Gold and
owners.
Sullivan?
Yeah, it's the owners because he bought he didn't buy a. If it had been a share issue he bought, it would have been
Yeah.
go into the club. But he bought shares off the other owners, didn't he?
Yeah, well, I'm surprised he did. So does that money go to the owners now?
Yeah.
Is that their cut, or does it get reinvested in the club? I'm not sure how it is.
I can't see they'll put it in the club, would you? If you
I'm
just
not
earned
sure.
yourself 150 million, I think I'd keep it in my back pocket myself.
Maybe, yeah.
Especially when my team is doing so well already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And by the
Speaking
way,
of West,
West Ham do have 27% Czech players in the squad as well.
Do
Do
they?
they? Yeah.
Huh. That's it.
I like
I'm just
the
saying
Chiefs.
that I'm just saying they have quite a few Czech Republic players.
Oh, I thought they only had two. That's why I was confused.
No, they have Shufal, they have Soucek, they have
Soucek, yeah.
Kral as well.
Who's that? Who's the other one?
Alexander Kral.
Oh,
the
yes,
guy
I'd
from
forgotten about
Spartak
him.
Moscow.
Yes, I forgot about him. Sorry, Deeps, you're right. Forgot about him.
speaking of West Ham players, I know it's still early days, but what do we think of Johnson?
Oh, I love him. I think he's brilliant.
Looks
Yeah.
a good lad, doesn't he?
Better than Trent.
Though
He's a midfielder.
Billy will
He's a
probably
midfielder, don't worry about that.
Billy will probably tell us there's at least 30 defenders better than 30 right backs better than Trent, or does that only apply? when
You
he's
found out,
left
Reece.
back? Yeah.
No. What Billy is definitely going to say is he's better than Robertson.
At left back, yeah.
Robertson's proven me right, though, and he's playing awful at the moment. He won't get in this
I think it's your fault.
Yeah.
You put the hex on him, mate.
Yeah,
He's
you
a-
forgot
he's a-
Allison last week. You said Allison was the best keeper you've ever seen in your
I
life.
know, talk about cursing him. Yeah, well, that's what I think we should move away from the before we curse
You
anyone
put the
else.
mockers on him, yes.
But while
put
we're
the
on,
mockers on him.
while we're on the subject of Liverpool, quick though, the standing trial beginning at Chelsea versus Liverpool. Does anyone think that is an insensitive choice?
Yeah,
I did.
absolutely. I think
Yeah.
it's wrong. I think Liverpool, there's too many memories for me with standing. I think we've moved on. I think the game's moved on. I think the comforts and the pleasure of watching the game, you don't need to be around people getting squashed and people peeing down your leg. I think all them days have gone. And you should be able to enjoy the game in peace. Not who's going to shoot your ear and there. And especially with Liverpool being one of the trialists for it, I don't like it at all, and I'm not a fan of standing.
Well, I think the problem is you've got a few problems, but I'm gonna go through a few of them. First off, I think people remembering what standing was like with rose-tinted glasses. I've stood on the cop a number of times, and it's if you're short like me, you can't see a bloody thing anyway. So you know what I mean. Secondly, people think that the atmosphere will suddenly return when everyone stood up. It doesn't work like that at all. That wasn't why there was the atmosphere. It's because everyone was able to stand together. You're not going to be able to, you're not going to suddenly be able to move around and stand next to your mates because, like you could like in the old days when it was standing, everyone just stood where they wanted. You've got a seat still. It's still rail, it's rail seats. It's still, you've got a rail in front of you and a rail behind you. You've got a seat. You've got a specific seat number. It's not you can just go and pick where you stand. You go to your seat still. So you're not going to be stood with your mates just because you've suddenly got to stand. You know what I mean? It's not going to change that. It's not actually altering and improving the atmosphere that the way people seem to think it is. It's not changing the thing, in fact, really. Other than now you'll be stood up rather than sat down in comfort. That's it. That's all it's actually changing.
It doesn't. Go on, Dave. Do you want to say something?
How can you enjoy your wine gums while you're standing up?
Exactly, mate, exactly.
That's what I want to know.
Every time you're trying to eat one, some bugger next to you nudges you. And it ends up rolling on the floor instead. That happened a few times, I tell you. I was always happier sitting because you could actually take in the game properly. Right? It was just, if it's a great atmosphere, it's great on the cop. It was great on the cop because of the atmosphere, but you couldn't really see anything because I'm not tall enough. And also, they're like some of the crap games, like they're going to see like Bristol City, I think it was, in the cup, and there was like 200 people on there. You know, it was shit. The atmosphere is terrible when you're standing. So you know, at least if you've got seats, at least if it was a proper stand, like you sit down and enjoy it, can't you? With your food, with your prawn sandwiches, if you're at
Prawn
Old
sandwich,
Trafford,
yeah.
yeah.
I was just gonna say the prawn sandwich brigade ain't gonna make any noise whether they're
Yeah.
standing or.
Is that what they
Yeah,
say over there?
exactly. It's not actually ultra. It's not fixing the problems. People think it's going to improve the atmosphere immediately. That's what they're looking for by standing. They think it's going to return back to the old days where the atmosphere.
Yeah.
But they're forgetting everyone stood there with their frigging mobile phone. Nobody's actually watching anything or singing. You know, they're too busy filming everything. That's where the problems lie. It's modern. It's the modern day.
Go
way
backwards,
of
I
being-
think. Let's
yeah.
go backwards.
I think the safe standing thing is just like VAR. People think it's just gonna drastically
Yeah.
improve everything because they think the issue is different than what the actual issue is.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Like we said, if people go there to watch the game, enjoy and emote out their emotions, then the atmosphere is gonna be better itself. Anyways, why do you think Liverpool playing Atletico Madrid in the Champions League has a better atmosphere than Liverpool playing Yeovil Town in the FA Cup?
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
it's because people are more involved in the game emotionally.
Mm. You spot on, Deep.
It's much yeah.
That's-
If you're standing if you're standing when you're playing against Manchester United or you're sitting, you're still gonna have that butterfly in your stomach, that buzz around yourself. So you're bound to express yourself more than if you're playing Watford.
Mm.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. If you're an Everton fan, you might be getting quite excited about Watford.
Yeah.
They were certainly making a bit of noise then, but it wasn't the right kind of noise, was it, Bill?
No.
Just saying. I didn't want to mention it, obviously. So, should we move on to? There's a couple of more things going to get through. I see Martin Odegaard of Arsenal. We mentioned him earlier, saying about him being dropped probably helped him, but he's had to delete his social media accounts due to the abuse he's receiving.
All right, I never read that one, Trish.
That's
no.
just tonight. That's happened tonight. I think.
Oh, is that tonight?
Yeah, I think so, or today. I think it's where I've seen it today. Literally just before as I was doing my notes like this morning, seen it, or this afternoon. Sorry. So yeah, that's a bit of a sad to happen. No matter how much how bad a player he is, or how good, and I don't rate him. I don't understand why they bought him, but like, why do people feel the need to abuse him?
Got nothing else to do with their lives, mate. They just want to pick on other people to make themselves feel better.
I know they could go dogging with you, couldn't they, Rob?
Or they can go cruising with Deeps.
I thought you two went together.
I don't get what you're saying. I don't
There's a
get
difference
what you're
between
saying.
Deeps has
Let's
no
just put that
idea
out
what we're talking about, mate.
I know about the dogging thing, but what?
Don't
What's
look up
cruising
cruising.
with
on
you?
Yeah, you don't want to know what cruising is, Deeps. Don't look
I'll
it up.
Google it.
Abid will explain it to you later. Probably while he's out cruising.
There's an Al Pacino movie called Cruising if you want to watch that from the early 80s as well.
Which,
That-
Rob was in it.
Yeah, when I was
Going
minus
back
10
to
years old.
Odegaard. Going back to Odegaard. This social media. Don't you think all the players should boycott social media
Yeah.
and
Oh,
just
okay, I get
say,
it.
we're not giving you our time no more? And instead of trying to get all these likes and think, just play your game and have nothing to do with social media.
You know why they
And the
do it,
same with all. Well,
though?
give me a
Sponsorship.
reason why
It's
they
about
do it.
money. They earn money.
What did you get?
You can
Did you get that much money? I don't
Yeah.
know.
Something like £100,000 a post you can get.
Yeah, huge money.
Sometimes more
Oh,
if it's
right.
the right campaign. So yeah, you don't freaking turn it down because you could do, you can get 10
Did they-
posts a day. So there's £1 million in a day, mate.
Did they
can
need the money? Did they need
No,
the
they
money?
don't. But I'm
Make
with you.
100,000.
They should boycott it.
Make £100,000 posting a photo of yourself in a skirt.
Yeah. What a clown! What a clown! I like that lad, but
It wasn't its shorts anyway, but like I don't see what the issue is with it. So what if he's wearing something a bit unusual? Up to him.
it was.
He's lost his way.
Why should he? What's the point? I don't know.
It's just fashion. Fashion's nonsense anyway. You know what I mean? So I just don't think it's that big a deal. Like I think it's a bit. Anyway, should we move on? Well, just quickly before we go, I don't know if any of you heard about Saint Etienne. They've accused.
No, I know.
Right, there was the nephew of Cambodia's king.
Yeah.
Trying to buy
I know.
them. Anyway, he presented this Prince Norodom Ravicek, presented a €100 million bank guarantee, and the club have accused him of fraud and forgery over it. They say he forged it and tried to commit fraud while buying the club. They say they got suspicious when they realised the signature of the bank rep on the bank guarantee belonged to someone who had not worked for the bank for years. And so they suddenly started looking into it, and it turned out to be a forgery. So they're now gone to the police, and he's going to be charged with fraud and forgery. It's like, how do you end up in that position in this day and age, where you think you can get away with it? Oh God, they're laughing at cruising.
I'm sorry. I'm trying to hold.
I know, we can hear you, mate. Just laugh. Ah, bless. Deeps is, in case anybody is listening, which is unlikely because I don't think anybody's listening this long, but if anyone is, Deeps has just looked up what cruising is and put the definition on our Discord server, and Rob's just died, as you can tell.
Oh shit!
Not that anyone's listening, so it doesn't matter. I think it's only me and Deeps that are actually on the YouTube channel, but yeah. But just in case anyone is. So yeah.
In the future.
So yeah, that's true. So these people could be listening to this in the future. So it's a good job I explained it.
Yeah. And by the way, San Etienne are struggling.
Oh yeah, they're in real trouble, aren't they?
In the league and financially as well.
Yeah.
Like most of the Ligue 1 clubs.
Yeah, they're in massive amounts of trouble.
Yeah, they might even sack Laporte. Might.
I don't think they can afford to sack him, can they? That's the problem. I
That
think
is why I
that's still
said
there.
might.
Yeah.
Yeah. If they had money, he'd be gone by now.
Yeah.
And they are a big team in France.
Oh, they're
So it's
huge,
quite-
isn't it? All over. They're a massive club, Deeps. In the 70s, they were the biggest club, one of the biggest clubs in the world.
Yeah, like even now, I'm saying even now they're a big club. They're a big historic club. So it would be a big shame if they was crippled so hard with financial strains and.
But they've
end
been
up
struggling
becoming
for
a
like
team.
30 years or so. So it's since their heyday in the 70s and that they've been struggling ever since. I suppose it's no surprise.
Yeah, but they
Is he still
had a
laughing?
few
Freaking
decent.
cruising.
I'm so sorry.
Christ, what happened to his professionalism? We need to give him a script to talk now, don't we?
Oh, I'm getting delirious.
Oh,
Too early, man.
Hey, Rob, are you having some flashbacks?
from earlier tonight when he was cruising, you mean?
Yeah, from one of his escapades,
Oh.
one of his mini escapades.
Yeah.
The way,
I don't think
the
we're
way you
allowed to
wrote
talk about them, dude.
Oh, I only copied and pasted it. I didn't write a single word.
The way you posted that was the end of me. That killed me. That killed me.
Oh, bless. Well, I think there's only one more thing to go on. I think we need to talk about the football kits. Two reasons. First off, I was just reading today about how Juve have been averaging 5 new kits every year since they joined Adidas. PSG released 5 kits last season. Napoli this season are already on their 8th brand new kit for the season because they did a Maradona special at the weekend. And then in the Premier League, Shelter wanted to do, wanted a thing on Boxing Day. They wanted all the teams, the home teams, to play in their away kit, to do a no home kit, initiative to raise awareness of homelessness at Christmas when it's the worst time in the UK for homelessness. And the Premier League said, no, you can't do that. It's against the rules. So, I mean,
It's off, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Shouldn't someone say, because the clubs are the shareholders in the Premier League. They decide what happens. Couldn't they turn round and say, well, bollocks to you, we think this is a great idea, it's going to raise awareness of homelessness, we're going to go with it, and if you don't like it, what are you going to do? We own it, we are the Premier League, we decide what happens, we're going to take a vote, and if, there's I think isn't it 18 clubs, if they vote for something, it happens. So they could just go in and say,
14.
we're setting the rules, we're going to change it, this is the rules now. Why can't they do that?
Yeah, absolutely. They should do as well. Getting dictated to what they can wear and what they can't. It's not as if it's it's for a good cause. Why don't you just go with it and just say, soldiers?
Yeah, just stick the middle finger up if need be.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
What they're going to do? They're not going to. They can't give them. They can't do that point. So the only thing they're going to do is fine them. And I mean, I just don't get it.
Yeah, it's just stupid, that, isn't it? Really
What do you
stupid.
think, Rob, as someone who seems to live in their car?
I'm just still trying to straighten myself out from before. And that was probably a poor choice of words as well, but
Well,
yeah, I'm glad you just got that. This is about the kids.
Yeah, go on, Rob. Go on, keep going.
Sorry, I was completely.
We're just waiting for you, mate. Go
on. In regards to wearing so many kits a season, I don't see what the big deal is. If they're going to do things like that for the homeless or whatever you're mentioning, then I don't see what the big deal is about things like that.
Yeah, that's what I mean. When we're allowing clubs to wear all these kits, Liverpool have got 4 out. Rangers have had 4 out this year. It's common. They're putting out loads of kits. So what's it matter if they wear an away kit for one game at home?
Yeah. They're making good money off it.
Yeah. I mean, it's a charity event. It's like they said, we allow them to wear a charity thing, a charity sponsor for one game a season. Like,
poppies.
That's big of you, isn't it? No, not the poppies. The one game a season, they changed instead of Liverpool had it against, wasn't it against it's one of the recent games. Each season anyway, it's one game. They changed the logo. We usually have an eye charity. I forget what it's called.
Yeah, seeing is believing or something.
Yes, that's it. And every club does it just for one game a season. That's the Premier League rules, apparently. I mean, that's really bigger than we do it for one game a season. What?
Yeah.
Piss
off, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's not making kids go and buy an away kit because they're wearing an away kit for a home game, is it? It's not making, it's not actually doing any it's not causing a problem because it's an away kit. They'd be wearing it another game anyway. I just don't understand what the Premier League's issue is with just saying, well, we'll have a vote. If if enough teams agree with it, we'll go with it. What's the problem? Why did they say the leagues, the rules are as they are? Why can't they just change them?
Absolutely.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah, it just seems like a problem of their own making. They're trying to deliberately stop something that could actually do some good. It's a bit like Ole telling Marcus Rashford not to go and do his charity work, but instead focus on football. I mean, it's just like, what?
Yeah. More to life,
Sorry, Deeps, did I say something wrong there? Did you want to say something?
Not only do you bring up Ole, but then you also bring up him being a proper dick.
I don't get your point. Sorry, Deeps, you need to elaborate. You need to explain yourself, mate. I don't know what you mean.
He's a knobhead.
But I just asked a question.
Selfish bugger. Oh, just because he can jet off to Norway when things get tough, he thinks the whole world is rosy.
Don't come
Sack
back.
him. Just sack him.
No. New contract.
5-year deal.
I'm with Rio
Yeah,
Ferdinand.
5 year. Yeah, 5 year deal at Liverpool.
No, definitely at Man
Bobby.
United. He's definitely he's a legend there, club legend, and he needs to stay for good.
Yeah,
Right, boys, I'm going to have to love you and
he
leave
needs to
you.
stay for good at Norway.
Are
I'm
you
going
heading
to
off cruising yourself now, are you, Bill?
No, I've got
This is
visitors
gonna
coming in a bit. So.
Oh, so you
has
don't
gotta be
need to
called-
pop out. They're coming round.
Yeah, they're coming round, yeah. We're letting this game. So,
Calvin
listen,
Lewin.
boys, it's been a blast. I shall see you next week.
Okay, mate. Take care.
Thanks a lot.
Good night.
Thanks a lot, guys.
Have a good
Ta-ra
night,
now.
mate. Take care, mate.
Ta-ra.
See you next Thursday, Billy.
Yeah, see you next time. Yeah, but he'll probably keep it. He'll keep the thing open as usual. If not more. So we'll probably hear all his family come round. That's what he usually does, doesn't he? Didn't he do that last
What he had
week, Rob?
Cory on. Yeah. Last 1 week he had Cory on.
Pizza. He was having his pizza last week.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, bless him.
I've lost my mind in the last hour, guys.
What do you mean lost your mind? Wouldn't that suggest that you had one to begin with?
Oh,
If you had a mind, you wouldn't be here doing this pod, let's be honest.
yeah, true.
You'd have something better to do, like sleep at
Yeah,
4
sleep
o'clock in the morning.
and function, normally on a Friday, not wake up in the afternoon and be a zombie. Oh, shit, that's funny.
Right. I think we should call it there before Billy's family gets here and we start hearing the family conversation. Just in case. 'Cause, what do you think, Deeps? You got anything to add?
I think we should end it here. There's no topping this.
Don't. I think I think you might be setting a low bar there if you think this is the best we can do. I like it. Keep it low and keep expectations low. That's the way to do it. All right then. So we'll see you next Thursday then.
Yeah,
See you next Thursday.
Thursday.
And yep, it's all stopped.